I woke up in this world expecting the full Western fantasy experience. Beautiful childhood friend? Nope. Cute little sister who's obsessed with me? Zero. Elf girls, beast girl beauties, a party of gorgeous adventurers? Not a single one. Instead, I got reincarnated as an orphan in some backwater mountain village on the second continent, named myself Noah, and have been swinging swords and killing bandits since I was 5. 5 years old. Other kids are learning to walk. I'm out here collecting bounty money just to eat. At least I got a cheat system, the all-worlds character card system. First card that lit up? Roronoa Zoro from One Piece. Got his sword skills, his 3 types of haki, his willpower, and his curse. I get lost. Like, catastrophically lost. Can't even leave my room without ending up in the wrong building. Also, I drink like a fish now. Thanks, Zoro. I spent 13 years maxing out every experience bar on that card. Developed my own style though, mostly single sword. I'm not biting a third sword in my mouth like some animal. I have plans for these lips. Harem king plans. Can't be kissing beautiful women with sword-chewed teeth. Speaking of my harem king dreams, I crossed the ocean to the strongest human nation, the Yellow Dragon Empire, headed for the Royal Academy to meet all kinds of gorgeous girls. And where did I end up? The border. The Crystal Fortress. A military outpost fighting pig-faced beastmen. Because I got lost. That was 2 years ago. I'm still here. But I did find my best bro, Tyrant Bear. Big guy, ugly as sin. Face looks like something crawled out of the abyss and got hit with a second round of ugly. But he's got insane strength and this freaky sensitivity to magic. We met because we were both just standing there after a battle like 2 idiots with nowhere to go. I smiled, said hi, and that was it, brothers for life. Tyrant Bear gets weirdly mad when I pat his chest or squeeze it though. We're at complaint number 508 now. I keep telling him, bro, your chest is surprisingly comfortable to pat, and he keeps saying stop. Classic bromance tension. He also refuses to visit the red light district with me. I suggested it once. Stress relief between bros, totally normal. And he smacked me in the back of the head. Some guys just can't handle a thoughtful gesture. On the battlefield though, we're unstoppable. I've racked up over 3,750 pig beast men, 5,580 rat men, 785 humans, and 3 nobles. 0 injuries. The monitoring officer gave me an S-rank evaluation. Tyrant Bear got AC. He was not happy about that. The regular soldiers here are terrified of me. A few months back, 3 nobles and their knight escorts thought they could push me around. I told them, a man cannot tolerate being challenged. They tested that theory. They died. Now every patrol squad I walk past goes pale and pretends rain is the reason they're sweating. I also have a drinking buddy, this filthy beggar who hangs around the tavern. Never once said thank you even though I pay for all his drinks. Months of free booze and not a single word of gratitude. Even Tyrant Bear wanted to punch him. But I don't care. He's my friend. Friends don't need thank yous. The one time he actually responded to me was when I declared I'd become the world's greatest swordsman and make the gods tremble. He went quiet, then said, I acknowledge you're number 1. At least I don't have the guts for that second part. What I don't know is that this beggar is actually the hero Alicia Klein, the legendary God-blessed champion, supposedly the world's greatest sword wielder. She died at 14, except she didn't. She's right there, disguised as a smelly homeless person, feeling guilty because she knows I want to duel the world's strongest swordsman, and that dream is technically impossible now. Sorry, buddy, your drinking partner is the final boss. Then there's my pen pal. Found a novel at age 10 that secretly encoded the message, as long as the gods don't die, all living beings are just toys. Finally, someone in this world who thinks like me. I wrote back using the same code. Camped outside the post office for 2 weeks, sleeping on the floor waiting for a reply. We've been exchanging letters ever since. I share my adventures, send wine and random rocks as gifts. My pen pal knows about my harem king ambitions and always writes back the same thing. Idiot Noah, any girl who dates you will run away screaming from your degenerate thoughts. What I also don't know. My pen pal is Saint Daling, the holiest woman in the church, the one closest to godhood in the entire religious order. She reads my coded letters, laughs her head off in private, and whispers, the beautiful girl is right here. Silly Noah, you just can't see her. So let me get this straight. My ugly bro is actually, well, let me not think too hard about that chest padding thing. My drinking buddy is the legendary hero in disguise. My pen pal is the freaking saint of the church. Every beautiful, legendary woman in this world is already around me, and I have no idea. Meanwhile, my second character card is at 99% progress. Just a few more days until I unlock whoever's next. But none of that matters right now because, I say it again, where are my beautiful girls? This Western fantasy world is a scam. I want a refund. I was promised elf waifus and got pig monsters. I wanted a harem and got a hammer to the skull from my own teammate. This is not how Western fantasy is supposed to work. Late at night, I came out of the bathroom and caught my bro Kofuner staring at the sky with tears rolling down that nightmare face. Something was clearly wrong. We've been through life and death together for over a year now, and I never once asked about his past. Tonight felt different. I slapped his shoulder and went full serious mode. I can listen. Whatever happened to you? If someone wronged you, I'll help you get revenge. Even if your enemy is one of the three demigods, God Lewis the human demigod, God Iagos from the Beastman Alliance, God Sarufidu from the Sea Domain. I'll cut them all down. And then this big ugly dude just hugged me and started bawling. You stupid direction-blind idiot. Why are you so sincere to someone who looks like this? Why did I have to meet you in this hideous form? Stupid, stupid, stupid. Okay. The crying. The clinging. The way he's talking. This is giving very strong, not actually a dude, energy. But I pushed that thought aside. My bro is hurting. That's what matters. I carried him to bed, Princess Carrie style, because I'm a gentleman, and laid him down. Then he grabbed my hand and whispered, "From now on, let's sleep together. I can only sleep peacefully with you beside me." My hands flew to my butt. Listen here. If I feel anything poking me from behind, I will beat you. I am the future harem king. I do not swing that way, he nodded. Didn't even understand what I meant. Then crawled onto my chest and just lay there. Cold sweat. Rivers of cold sweat. I had to mentally coach myself. Remember, Noah? You are a transmigrator destined for a harem. This is simply training. Endurance training. Yes, this is cultivation. To calm down, I started humming a song from my past life. Something about wilderness and fleeting time. Kofuner actually liked it. Didn't know the lost idiot could sing, he said, flicking my chin. Then he dropped it. Call me Kofuner from now on. I'm not Tyrant Bear. That name is awful. I blinked. Kofuner? That's a girl's name, though. You're a special dude, bro. Also, isn't that the same name as that girl from the old Immortal Stars trio? The genius mage? He froze. Then he was on top of me, grabbing my shoulders, shaking me like a madman. What did you just say? What Immortal Stars? There's no record of any such group. History only mentions two. The Shining Suns, Saint Daling and Hero Alicia. Whoa. Intense. I explained what I remembered. For years ago, when I was 14, the world went crazy. All the major powers, the Church, Human Nations, Beastman Alliance, Sea Domain, suddenly teamed up and rushed the Abyss entrance. A month later, the Abyss demons spread panic. The hero Alicia had vanished. If the Demon King awakens, nobody can stop him. People were terrified because last time a hero failed, the Demon King ravaged the world for 20 years and killed half of all living things. The Church's Pope calmed everyone down, claiming Alicia was just training in the Yellow Dragon Empire. Sure, that's why none of my challenge letters ever got answered. But here's the weird part. In my memory, there was a third legendary figure, a magical genius girl named Kofuner who reached level 10 mage at just 14. She was supposed to be the greatest talent in history, but right around when the hero disappeared, every trace of this girl got erased. Books rewritten, memories altered, like she never existed. I would have thought I was hit by some mind attack spell, but my Conqueror's Haki makes me immune to all mental interference. My memories are fine. It's the world that got tampered with. When I said all this, tears started dripping onto my chest again. Second time tonight. Kofuner started theorizing, pretending to guess, but the details were way too specific for guessing. Hypothetically, he said, this genius girl Kofuner was so talented that at 14, she'd already figured out 14 different methods to break through to the Holy Spirit realm. A barrier that stops countless geniuses for centuries? For her, it was like deciding whether to add a chicken leg to lunch. She told her 5 mentors about these methods. She didn't notice that behind their shock was jealousy. Those 5 Grand Mage mentors wanted her talent for themselves, to break through to Holy Spirit realm and become demigods. 3 of them were students of demigod god Lewis. One was his wife. One was his daughter. They lured her into an anti-magic barrier, sacrificed 1 million innocent civilians in a blood ritual, cast a forbidden curse called absolute death, forgotten life. The curse doesn't kill, it protects the host, making them undying and unaging until those million souls dissipate. But it transfers all the host's talent to the casters. Then they threw her onto the divine mountain, a place soaked in god blood that tears apart souls, to let the divine energy grind down both her and the million souls, erasing all karmic connections. One of them, Saint Millennia, that animal, even stood guard for a year to personally watch her die. When the hero incident was wrapping up, demigod god Lewis used a divine artifact called Stealing Sky, Swapping Sun. No combat power, just the ability to erase traces and alter memories below the holy level, to wipe all evidence. Every Holy Spirit realm being could have resisted it, but not one of them spoke up for justice. He stopped talking, lay there with his arm over his eyes, crying silently. I'm not stupid. Nobody could know those details unless they were there. The name of the curse, the specifics of the ritual, the mountain, the year-long vigil. Bro, I asked the genius mage Kofuner. The room went quiet, just our breathing. Next morning, I woke up first, made breakfast, and when Kofuner got up, I handed it over with my usual confident grin. You know, my original plan already included challenging the strongest. I'll kill that demigod. I'll kill those 5 Grand Mage mentors. So I'm gonna need you to keep being my navigator. Kofuner, her eyes narrowed, trying to figure out if I'd connected the dots. Then she shook it off and went right back to normal. Obviously. Without me, you'd get lost inside the fortress, idiot Noah. Then it hit me. All the disgusting stuff I've been telling my bro over the past 2 years. The degenerate fantasies. The techniques. The positions. The mother-daughter sister-master-disciple relative combo meals. The elf family bucket. The foot stuff. My bro is a girl. I told a girl all of that. My face went red. Hey, everything I told you before? About those things. Please forget all of it. What things? You know? The stuff. The behind stuff. The feet as food stuff. The queen play. The elf complete collection. The costume removal dance. All of it. Erase it. I am pure. I'm the innocent Xiao Chunan. Have you ever seen me visit the red light district? Not once in 2 years. Kofuner's mouth was twitching violently. She hadn't been thinking about any of that until I brought it all back up. Now every single degenerate thing I ever said was replaying in her head in HD. You disgusting human garbage. You're worse than abyss demons. You want the whole family? You even thought of uses for hands, feet, mouth, and behind? You're the most despicable scum in all of history. Die. The iron hammer came screaming at my face. As I went flying through the air, for just a split second, I thought I saw a beautiful golden-haired girl, face flushed red with fury, glaring at me. That must be what Kofuner really looks like. Not the cursed body. The real her. I smiled mid-flight. Glad to see you've got your spirit back. Bonk. Today the Beastman Alliance decided to stop playing games. No more garbage pigmen and ratmen. They sent real soldiers. Lion beastmen riding giant wolves, 3-meter-tall elite infantry, magic squads, priest squads, the whole package. Turns out some 66th prince named Cross made a divine oath to 3 gods, war god, dragon god, hunting god, to win 100 battles in 1 month using his personal guard. The gods approved it. The monitoring officer on the wall was cursing. Our fortress commander, Holy Knight Saint Decabai, was furious. The Beastman side's guardian, Holy Beast Knight Saint Arturo, basically told him, deal with it, from across the battlefield. 2 Holy Spirit realm powerhouses glaring at each other so hard that space itself started warping. Meanwhile, all we had on the field were mercenaries, slaves, and criminals. Classic. Our regular army marched out and formed up in proper formations. Everyone else started retreating to their sides. Everyone except me, because I was in the zone and couldn't read the room. Kofuner grabbed my waist. Are you an idiot? The atmosphere is wrong. We can go home early today. I flicked her forehead. You're the idiot. Didn't you tell me yourself? See, after that night, when Kofuner told me everything, the situation became crystal clear. To break her curse, we need to fulfill the soul oath she made with those million innocent spirits. Condition 1. Kill 1,000,000 beastmen. Those spirits were former residents around Crystal Fortress who got slaughtered by beastman invasions over the decades. They hated the Beastman Alliance. And since we're in the same mercenary group, best bros with inseparable karmic bonds, my kills count as her kills. She said so herself. Condition 2. Destroy the divine artifact, stealing sky, swapping sun, to restore the erased traces of those million people's existence. And revenge against those 5 animal mentors? The million spirits saw the hatred burning in Kofuner's soul. No conditions needed. She'd do that on her own. So hurry up, I told her. It's just killing pigs. We need 1,000,000, can't slack off. I want to meet the real, beautiful Kofuner as soon as possible. Date her. Maybe even do a month-long marathon of. She decided right then that telling me the truth was the stupidest decision she'd ever made. After that revelation, I'd been going hard, buying magic books and tools for Kofuner with my savings. She got so annoyed she told me to stop wasting money on kindergarten-level magic textbooks and started teaching me about curse-breaking herself. One night, I got so excited I couldn't sleep, woke up the next morning and went on a killing spree from dawn to dusk. Even tried to night raid the Beastman camp. That's when Kofuner realized I don't have a brain, just an empty skull with sword thoughts bouncing around inside. But today she told me I wasn't strong enough. That regular army soldiers are all level 3 knights minimum, battle-hardened veterans, not the drugged-up noble brats I'd been carving through. Said my current displayed strength would barely be mid to low tier at the Royal Academy. Nowhere near the level of geniuses like Alicia, Daling, or herself. That stung. So when we got back to the gate and a regular soldier yelled at us, I pushed Kofuner through the entrance, turned around with my cockiest grin, and said, "My strength? Have you seen my full power? Don't underestimate me. I'm strong. Meteors, sky, ocean, I can cut them all in half. If I had a sword that could handle my power, I'd be even stronger. This sword snowflake can only handle 40% of what I've got. But even at 40%, cutting a meteor? Easy, Noah," Kofuner screamed, reaching for me. The gate closed between us. I punched the soldier who'd yelled at me straight out of his formation. A bunch of trash needing battle formations to fight another bunch of trash. Then I walked onto the battlefield. Alone. Against an entire Beastman army. The whole fortress was watching through broadcast crystals. Every mercenary, slave, criminal, and soldier knew my name. The maniac who'd killed nobles without blinking. In the tavern, the beggar, secretly Alicia, stared at the screen with guilt written all over her. "I'm sorry, Noah. If I release even a whisper of my aura, the god's blessing reactivates, and I become their puppet again. I'm sorry. I'm a coward." Kofuner's eyes were bleeding from how hard she was crying. She blamed herself. Her words had wounded my pride, and now I was out there alone. I pointed Snowflake at their army. "At least know who killed you. I'm Noah. My goal is Alicia. I will beat her with my sword and become the world's greatest swordsman. Dying to the future number 1? You should feel honored. Sometimes even I want to die by my own sword, because it's the world's greatest swordsman's blade." Nobody answered. The prince sent a cavalry squad at me. I yawned. The lead rider swung his enchanted blade at my skull. I activated armament hockey over my whole body, full hardening. His blade bounced off my head. "You're too weak. Sword technique. Great star tremor." I split him and his wolf mount clean in half from crown to tail. Then I moved through the rest of the cavalry squad. 100 riders, all bisected at the waist in one pass. 2.5 pieces each. In the tavern, Alicia shook her head, his sword speed. "Not enough to challenge me yet. Fine. We'll see about that." Prince Cross sent his bear corn next. 2,000 level 4 knights, all going berserk mode, strength doubled, the leader pushing level 5. They charged like a tsunami of fur and muscle, treating me as a speed bump. "Let me show you. My Ashura sword way." I apologized to Snowflake. She couldn't handle much more hockey. I poured in everything anyway. The blade turned so black it shined. One horizontal swing. Simple. Casual. No dramatic wind-up. A single arc of sword energy screamed across the field and cut the entire bear core in half. 2,000 berserking giants, cleaved through armor and flesh like paper. Blood rained. Bodies toppled in two directions. Everyone watching lost their minds. Kofuner saw the ghost of the old hero in me. Saint Decabai started chuckling. Saint Arturo's killing intent flared for 1 second, and then something made him drop to his knees and pray for forgiveness. The gods were watching, and I was apparently their trial for the prince. Alicia? Her legs pressed together involuntarily. Her whole body was tingling. That sword, it stirred my heart. Noah, don't die. A swordsman worth drawing my blade for. I released my conqueror's haki, black-red lightning crackling, and purged every debuff those mages had thrown at me. Then I charged into their camp. Fire dragon blaze. A flaming dragon erupted from my blade and tore through mages, priests, and guards. I danced through them with basic cuts, thrusts, and slashes, killing with fundamentals alone while singing. Night colors cool by the pond shore, with you, hand in hand, to the frontier, laughing. 4 walls of a fortress? Just a playground, signal fires and wolf. Smoke cut through my melancholy. Iron horses on frozen rivers. How can they sever bonds of love? Prince Cross roared, his shockwave extinguishing my fire and interrupting my concert. Rude. He stepped out of his tent. Tiger-headed beast man, mostly humanoid except for ears, tail, and fangs. Level 6 god servant. Introduced himself formally. I looked at him with disappointment. What? You looked down on me? I shook my head. Then my eyes lit up with burning excitement. His butt clenched. He thought I was into dudes. No. I planted my sword in the ground and started gesturing wildly. Your ears. Your tail. That means the Beast Man Alliance definitely has cute beast girl beauties with fluffy ears on their heads and tails on their butts. I could pet their ears, stroke their tails, put them in maid outfits and have them wag their tails and stick their tongues out and kneel on the bed calling me Goshijin Sama. Just imagining that beautiful girls like that exist in this world waiting for me to save their hearts and bodies makes me want to roll on the ground, and I did. I literally rolled around on the battlefield in ecstasy. Cross. The entire Beastman army. The entire human army. Everyone watching the broadcast. Both Holy Spirit realm powerhouses. Kofuner squatted down and covered her face. She had nothing left. I was beyond saving. Alicia took a deep breath. The swordsman who stirred my soul just now was definitely a hallucination. I was hit by magic. Noah is still the delusional idiot. Cross recovered, dropped to his knees, and formally invoked the 3 gods as witnesses for a one-on-one duel. The loser's soul goes to the gods. The air turned heavy and thick. The gods were watching. Everyone cleared the field. Just me and him. We clashed. His claws met my hockey-coated blade, clang. He noticed my sword was abnormally hard, shrugged it off, then broke through my guard and kicked me in the chest. I flew back, coughing blood. His divine power doubled his stats plus 3 aura buffs. Damage reduction, auto-heal, and magic resistance. He was strong, stronger than me in raw stats. But I had tricks. When our blades met again, I used Ryuo, advanced armament hockey that strikes from inside the target. Armor penetration. His claws deflected my sword, but blood suddenly leaked from his neck. He jumped back, confused about how he got cut when he dodged. I wasn't about to explain. I hit him with black rope, great dragon tornado, penetrating critical strike, shredding sword energy wrapped in a cyclone. He punched through it. I followed with Tiger Hunt, a roaring tiger of sword energy that pushed him back dozens of meters, blood seeping from every pore. He figured out my trick and formed an internal energy membrane to block the inside attacks. His healing aura patched him up. We traded blows. His claws raked my shoulder to chest, deep wound, blood flowing. He blew on his broken nail casually. By the way, I asked mid-fight, you ever met Alicia? He nodded, annoyed. I know what you want to ask. You're nowhere close. When I faced her, I didn't even have the courage to challenge her. I was 18. She was 6. I smiled. Perfect. If your strength is only this much, I'll forget you by tomorrow. Time to use my full power. This one sword stroke is my challenge letter to Alicia. When I was 14, she was 14. She got called world's greatest swordsman on her 14th birthday. I was still getting lost. Nobody saw my 14th birthday's ultimate technique. It's a shame Alicia got called #1 without ever facing this. Cross thought I was delirious from blood loss. Then he looked into my eyes, and every hair on his body stood up. I released Conqueror's haki, fully. The sky split in half. Black-red lightning hammered the battlefield. The ground shattered in expanding shockwaves across a 100-mile radius. I recited the technique name. 9 mountains, 8 seas form one world. 1,000 worlds become a small 1,000 world. This realm multiplied by 3. Nothing I cannot sever. Ultimate technique. One great 3,000 grand 1,000 world. Snowflake sang one last joyful note. A farewell for herself. A celebration for her master. I swung. The compressed energy wave erupted. Conqueror's haki and armament haki fused with sword energy into a horizon-spanning torrent of destruction. Time froze. Air warped for 100 miles. The attack hit Cross like the end of the world. He broke through to level 7 in his final instant. Didn't matter. The sword energy ripped him in two. And it kept going. It slammed into the fortress wall. The defensive array activated. Didn't matter either. The sword energy carved through the wall like butter, splitting the entire fortress wall clean in half. The cut was mirror smooth. I sheathed what was left of Snowflake. She shattered inside the scabbard. Gone. Wind whipped my clothes. I stared at the sky. I could swing this sword at 14. I don't hate that Alicia never came to see me. I hate that she never got to see me. A swordsman like her, never witnessing my arrogance and wild spirit? That's her loss. Dead silence. Nobody, not the audience, not the Holy Spirit realm beings, said a single word of objection. In the tavern, Alicia's hands were trembling. Not from fear. From her body's instinctive reaction to meeting someone who called to her soul. Could 14-year-old her do that same sword strike? Yes. So what would happen if 14-year-old her met 14-year-old Noah? For the first time, she didn't immediately answer. For the first time, she saw a practitioner of the sword path identical to her own. Pure pressure from the sword alone. She could win. She must win. For the honor of her guardian sword way, she had no reason to lose. Her cloudy eyes began clearing. The spark was coming back. Then the bartender kicked her out. Beggar, Noah's prepaid tab is used up. Come back after he pays again. Her eyes went cloudy again. But something had changed inside her. She wanted to grip a sword and trade blows with me. Every day? Slash after slash. That sounded fun. Back in her ruined shack, she slapped her own cheeks. What are you thinking? You decided. Give up the sword. Give up being the hero. Stop being the god's puppet. You should have resolve. But the more she tried not to think about it, the more my sword filled her mind. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw us sparring, laughing, testing techniques against each other. Noah, you'd be disappointed in the current Alicia. You waited so long for the world's greatest swordsman, and she's just a coward who runs away. Noah, 1 month later. Tavern. I was rubbing my nose while Kofuner lectured me again. Can you stop nagging like a mom? I've been sneezing every day this month. Am I sick? Or is someone thinking about me? Maybe Alicia saw the broadcast recording. Maybe she's interested. Maybe she's writing back to accept my challenge right now. She's thinking about me? Hee hee. Ha 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 ha. The beggar lowered her head, embarrassed. Kofuner got furious, smashed me with her iron hammer until I saw stars, and ranted. Even if Alicia isn't missing, she'd never be interested in you. I met her a few times back then, super serious, sword always in hand, completely shut off from the world. Even more antisocial than I used to be. I held my throbbing head. Geniuses are like that. Hey, is she prettier than you, Kofuner? That was the wrong question. She reached for my pants. Let me cut it OFF so you stop daydreaming about girls every second of every day. I sprinted. If you cut it off, you won't be able to use it either. When I beat Alicia, maybe she'll fall for my looks, morals, and strength and join my harem. You should try getting her approval as a sister wife. Kofuner chased me through the tavern with scissors. Even if you get a harem, I'm the main wife. I make the decisions. I'll settle for spiritual and soul-level intimacy. It'll purify your disgusting heart. Now hold still and let me cut it. Help me. And that's my life. Level 4 officially. Combat power rivaling level 7. Newly famous sword master Noah, still being chased by Kofuner with scissors. Every single day. Nobody in the tavern remembered Kofuner existed, thanks to the memory curse. They thought our argument was just drunk rambling. Only one person had a faint impression of her, the beggar. Something about Kofuner stirred old memories in Alicia's mind. Ever since that broadcast of me splitting the fortress wall went viral, everyone wants to challenge me. We're in Moonlight City now, a massive trade hub over 1,000 kilometers from Crystal Fortress, and I can't walk 10 steps without some wannabe swordsman screaming my name. Noah, accept my challenge. Cat Tribe, Carlo, Noah, I'm the disciple of level 7 Knight Aing. Fight me. I pulled out Snowflake's handle. No blade, just the hilt. If you can accept losing to this, I have no problem. The challengers deflated instantly. The crowd lost interest too. A swordsman without a sword? Even a sword master is just a regular level 4 knight. Nobody special. Some smart ones started scheming about investing in me. Some sneaky ones started plotting to defeat the swordless swordsman for fame. Whatever. I'm here to shop. See, we heard about this century-only auction happening in Moonlight City. I need a sword that can actually handle my hockey. Snowflake shattered after that final attack. Rest her soul. And Kofuner spotted some rare mineral ore in the auction catalog that could help with her curse research. We looked at each other. Both had the same thought and flashed identical evil grins. Plan A, buy it. Plan B, ROB whoever buys it afterward. They're all nobles and upper-class types anyway. Losing money won't kill them. As for the beggar, Alicia, she tagged along because when I went to prepay her bar tab, she leaned in close and whispered that she'd remembered a mountain bandit treasure stash near Moonlight City, worth at least 3 million gold coins. My eyes turned demon red. I was panting like a beast. My pupils were shinier than rubies. Kofuner was not happy about bringing the beggar along, but I overruled her. I wrapped my arm around Alicia's shoulder, pulled her close by the waist, and announced to the whole tavern, "You just got promoted from drinking buddy to my second real friend. Anyone who touches you is challenging me. As long as you don't betray this bond, this promise is eternal." Then, because I was so happy about the money, I grabbed her dirty face and kissed her forehead. Moi? Big wet smack. My drool slid down like tear tracks on her cheeks. She froze. Her whole body was trembling. I held her tight, bumping against her with excitement, grinning like a maniac. That was the world's future greatest swordsman's first kiss. Let this honor be eternally carved into your soul, bro. That night Kofuner's iron hammer swings had afterimages. I briefly glimpsed a golden-haired beauty radiating Conqueror's hockey of pure feminine rage. Terrifying. Beautiful. Mostly terrifying. You spineless moron. 3 million gold coins, and you just surrender your dignity? You need to be disciplined, you idiot. Day 1. Found the treasure, no problems. Went to the bank, converted it to cards. 3 million gold, split 50-50. Half for me and Kofuner, half for Alicia. But Alicia turned down her share. Said she just wanted to travel with us. Witness whatever she wanted to witness. Make her journey more interesting. Kofuner thought about it for a few seconds and agreed. The deal was simple. Follow along. We'll protect you when we can. But if something truly dangerous comes along, Kofuner comes first for me. Alicia accepted. That day, something flickered across Alicia's eyes. A tiny hint of envy. Toward Kofuner. Now, Moonlight City. 3 days in. This place is my first time exploring a major city in the Yellow Dragon Empire, and I'm acting like a kid at a theme park. Kofuner holds my hand and gives me the tour. Architecture, magic tools, cultural stuff. She's got this little smile on her face the whole time. Alicia walks silently behind us. At first, she thought we were holding hands to show off our relationship. Then she realized the truth. If Kofuner lets go for 1 second, I vanish into the crowd. 3 days, and it happens every time. Kofuner facepalms like a tired mother, shouts my name through the crowd, and I jump up waving my hand like a lost toddler. But Alicia's also been watching Kofuner closely. Anytime magic comes up, Kofuner radiates absolute confidence and pride that doesn't match her monstrous appearance at all. In Alicia's memory, only one golden-haired girl ever gave off that aura. Smack. I slapped Alicia's butt. Her ears went red instantly. I shoved an ice cream into her hand, grabbed her wrist to prevent myself from wandering off. Kofuner was shopping in a magic store and said, "Stop staring at Kofuner. She's mine, bro. You can't have weird ideas about her. If there's a third time today, I can't guarantee you'll survive. Go eat your ice cream. If you're feeling hot and bothered, I'll let you spend a week in the red light district when we get back." She almost choked. I do not have any disgusting thoughts. I'm just curious about her magic knowledge. I wave my hand in front of her face. I know I'm handsome and free-spirited, but you can't have special feelings for me either. I'm only interested in beautiful girls of all species. I'll discuss hearts, souls, and bodies with them. Their moms, sisters, aunts, masters too. The whole package deal suits my style. Alicia's face twisted with pure disgust. She'd heard all of this before during our drinking sessions. Degenerate fantasies that shattered her worldview repeatedly. And hearing it again made her lip curl. Idiot Noah. Beautiful girls will never date you. You'll just scare them all away. I'm certain, slap. I patted her chest. Yours are smaller than mine. You need to train more. A strong body means you can enjoy more varieties of fine wine. Don't worry, you're not a girl. A tuft of gray hair on her head stood straight up. She was shaking with rage. Even between male friends, this counts as harassment. Huh? Fine, if you don't like it. I let go and turned around. 2 seconds later she realized I was gone, lost in the crowd. Instantly, now she understood Kofuner's daily suffering. It wasn't that she feared I'd disappear forever. I'm not actually stupid. I could always ask someone for directions back to the hotel. But in a city crawling with nobles, great nobles, and powerful fighters, what if I accidentally wandered into the city lord's wife's bedroom? That would be impossible to explain. With her beggar disguise and ugly face, Alicia couldn't even enter most shops, couldn't walk openly on the streets without soldiers, noble guards, or even regular citizens trying to attack her. This was reality for people at the bottom. She'd gone from being bowed to by kings to being treated worse than rats. But that's also why she valued me. I never cared about anyone's appearance, status, or position. I just did what felt right. Protected those I called friends. Drew my sword on nobles without hesitation. Heart follows will, completely free. Meanwhile, Kofuner was thriving in the magic shop. Now that she had money, all that genius-level magical knowledge she'd been sitting on was finally being put to use. She was crafting communication devices, defense tools, attack implements, support items, assembling and combining magic in ways that left the shopkeepers stunned. Even cursed and unable to cast magic directly, she could use enchanted tools to unleash combinations that would beat most people. She wasn't my dead weight anymore. She was becoming a powerhouse again. As for me, I followed my nose. The scent of fine wine was like an arrow guiding me through the streets. I ended up in a weapons shop, staring at a bottle of wine mounted on the wall. How much for that bottle, boss? Customer, I'm down here. Look down, you jerk. Boss? Where are you? I can only hear a voice. Is this the legendary 1,000-mile voice technique? I'll give you a 1,000-mile fist. Look, down. A dwarf shopkeeper named Gray was hammering my shins with 2 tiny hammers. I looked down at the helmeted little man glaring up at me. I've seen dwarves before, but every time, it's still a hell of a joke. He didn't understand what hell joke meant, but his instincts told him I was mocking him. Don't be mad, boss. Let me tell you some jokes. About dwarves. You'll laugh, promise. What none of us noticed, not me, not Alicia, not Kofuner, was that someone had been watching us since day one. Saint Daling, my pen pal, had seen the broadcast recording and matched it with intelligence the church had gathered on me. She'd confirmed I was her mysterious book friend. The moment she learned I'd entered Moonlight City, she projected her consciousness into a female believer's body and came to watch in person. Right now, possessing that believer, she was watching me tell dwarf jokes to a furious shopkeeper. Back at the church, her real body was laughing, a beautiful, bell-like sound ringing through the holy halls. So the dwarf shopkeeper Gray had this gorgeous bottle of wine on the wall that I desperately wanted, but he flat out refused to sell it. This wine is reserved for the hero Alicia. When she defeats the Demon King, I'll present it to her personally. And her sword, God's Cry, was forged by us dwarves. 500 years of work. The greatest weapon in history. As a craftsman, that honor burns brighter than the sun. I muttered under my breath. I could kill the Demon King too. And that world's greatest swordsman title is just temporarily parked on Alicia's head. Once my beautiful girl breaks her curse, I'm coming for her. He didn't hear me. Lucky him. Fine, no wine. Let's look at swords then. I picked up the first blade, held it against my chest, closed my eyes, and ran my bare palm along the blade edge. Blood everywhere. Sliced my hand wide open. Didn't let go. Hey, what are you doing, kid? You're bleeding all over my merchandise. Then every single sword in the shop started singing, vibrating, ringing with joy. Gray's jaw hit the floor. This is unity of man and sword. The blades are choosing you. They all want to fight by your side. I opened my eyes and shook my head sadly. We don't have enough fate between us. You're all sharp, but you can't handle my hockey and sword intent. The swords let out a collective wail. Heartbreaking. Gray wasn't having it. He jumped off the counter, which brought him to approximately my kneecap, and demanded proof. So I grabbed one sword and flooded it with my Ashura sword intent. Conqueror's hockey, armament hockey, everything. The white blade turned pitch black instantly, shining with power. Then started screaming in agony. Any more, and it would shatter. Like eating until your stomach explodes. Gray went quiet. He understood. It wasn't my problem. It was his. He couldn't forge a sword worthy of me. For a dwarf craftsman, that was shame. Kid, what's your name? I didn't call you. I mean, what are you called? I didn't call anyone. Your name, you moron. Oh, Noah. I started heading for the door, but Gray grabbed my pants leg. Wait. My swords are the best in Moonlight City. Every other shop is worse. And this auction has no swords in it. You came for nothing. He paused. But I have one blade that might work. He pulled out a sword from behind the counter. Completely rusted. Looked like tetanus waiting to happen. This is the tetanus sword. I understand. Truly a treasure. Goodbye, boss. I need to find someone to walk me back to the hotel. No? Listen. This sword is called Heaven's Cry. It was born alongside God's Cry, Alicia's legendary blade. That got my attention. Gray took a big swig from his flask and explained. 500 years ago, when the dwarves forged God's Cry for the future hero using materials from every race and nation, something unexpected happened. The leftover materials spontaneously fused into a second sword. The clan chief named it Heaven's Cry. At first they thought they had twin divine swords. But Heaven's Cry had a mind of its own. It refused to accept being made from God's Cry scraps. It was proud. So proud that it chose to destroy itself rather than be second best. It rusted itself on purpose and cursed anyone who tried to wield it. 35,800 swordsmen over 500 years tried to tame it. Every single one died. Heaven's Cry would reject their sword intent. Whatever you poured in, it spat right back out. A sword that refuses to cooperate in battle is a death sentence. How much? Let's see if you can even take it first. I grabbed the hilt. Nothing. Poured in my sword intent and hockey. 1 minute, 0 response. 5 minutes. It started pushing my energy back out. 10 minutes. The rejection matched my input exactly. A perfect standoff. 30 minutes. The blade trembled. Just barely. 1 hour. My face was pale, cold sweat dripping. Heaven's Cry was receiving my beliefs about the sword and starting to respond. Stuttering. Uncertain. 2 hours, 1 ring. The rust exploded off the blade. Underneath was the most brilliant, flawless sword I'd ever seen. Blinding. Gorgeous. It stopped rejecting me. But that ring? It sounded like someone being forced to boot up against their will. Pure reluctance. Like an alarm clock it hated. I grinned. Heaven's Cry. You felt my sword path. My goals. I'll give you a choice. Come with me, defeat Alicia, defeat God's Cry, and prove you're not leftovers. Or stay here and keep running away. Your call. I flipped Heaven's Cry into the air, spread my arms wide, and stood directly under where it would fall. No observation hockey to predict the trajectory. No armament hockey to protect myself. Nothing. Gray screamed. Are you insane? That blade is sharp enough to pierce your skull. You'll die, Boss Gray. As a swordsman, having the courage to let your sword acknowledge you is basic resolve. If I die, it just proves I'm only worth this much. Can't blame heaven or anyone else. The blade spun down, slid past my cheek by a hair, and slotted perfectly into my empty scabbard. Clink. The scabbard vibrated. Heaven's Cry had fully awakened and accepted its idiot master. Every sword in the shop erupted in celebration. A chorus of blade song, ringing in harmony for Heaven's Cry. Thanks, Boss Gray. Next time I'll tell you more dwarf jokes. 10 minutes later, I walked back into the shop because I got lost again. Gray didn't charge me for Heaven's Cry. Instead, he rewrote the sign under his prized wine bottle and hung Snowflake's broken hilt next to it. This wine is for Hero Alicia. This wine is also for Heaven's Cry's master, Noah. God's Cry versus Heaven's Cry. Who is number one? The answer is, he left it blank. waiting for the outcome. Meanwhile, Saint Daling, my pen pal, secretly watching through a possessed believer, was murmuring, I picked Noah. That coward Alicia who runs from destiny doesn't have the courage to beat Noah's unshakable conviction, unless she breaks through her own limits. But that's uncertain. I can't wait for God's cry and heaven's cry to meet. Gray blinked and lost a few seconds of memory. He never noticed her. Later that day, some fancy street in Moonlight City. I was wandering around with my wine bottle when I stumbled into a situation. Every civilian was kneeling on the ground. A magical carriage was rolling through, belonging to some great noble named Charles Ross, one of the hereditary parliamentary families of the Yellow Dragon Empire. Walking beside the carriage like a glorified bodyguard was a level 7 knight named Kogi Newcastle, son of Moonlight City's own lord. Even the city lord's talented son had to play escort for these upper-tier nobles. And this Charles Ross was the worst kind of garbage. He'd just, jokingly, asked Newcastle if his sister, a level 4 mage, could become his 85th concubine. Newcastle had to bow and say that would be her honor while dying inside. Then Charles Ross laughed. Just kidding. As if I'd take a commoner family's girl. Alicia was hiding in an alley, slapping her own face, wondering how she'd ever accepted offerings from monsters like these back when she was the hero. Then she knocked over a trash can. Clang. In the dead silent street, it sounded like a bomb going off. Newcastle drew his sword at the alley. Alicia stumbled out trembling. Hands up. I'm sorry, sir. It was an accident. I'm sorry. Charles Ross waved dismissively. Just a rat. Let it go, then changed his mind. Actually, bring it under the carriage wheels. Newcastle, you should clean up vermin. Rats carry plague. Wind magic grabbed Alicia and dragged her in front of the wheels. She was about to give up. Just let it happen. But every time she closed her eyes, my face appeared. Two voices in her head. Her own telling her to keep running. Keep hiding. Just die already. And mine telling her to face everything. That's when I showed up. Wandering down the middle of the street with a wine bottle, completely ignoring all the kneeling people, walking right up to the noble's entourage. You guys are blocking my way. The entire street froze. Nobody spoke. So I had a revelation. Oh, I get it. You want me to give you directions. Well, you came to the right person. I am definitely not bad with directions. Really. Charles Ross took a deep breath so hard his lungs nearly burst. Newcastle's eyes were popping out of his skull. Then I noticed Alicia on the ground in front of the carriage wheel. Beggar bro, are you cosplaying as a speed bump? Didn't know you had that hobby. She could hear the concern hidden behind my joke. Warmth flooded her chest. Not because of who she used to be, but because I cared about her. The dirty, ugly, nameless her. I snatched her up, carried her to safety, and she started crying into my shirt, gripping my collar so tight she was choking me. Why would you stand up for a nameless beggar against a great noble? You idiot. Why are you so genuine and kind to someone in this state? Felt like deja vu. Kofiener had said almost the exact same words. Standing up for a friend is normal. Stop crying like a girl. I put her down and walked back. Same spot. Tilted my head at the noble's crew. So, who was bullying my friend? Nobody answering. Then I'll assume it was all of you. Every kneeling civilian stopped breathing. Every small noble went pale. Everyone watching was thinking, is this guy insane? Charles Ross laughed until he wheezed. It was me. Any complaints? My eyes went cold. Hand on heaven's cry's hilt. Killing intent erupted. Newcastle drew his sword faster than he'd ever drawn in his life. His instincts screaming that the next move would end someone's life. 1 second from bloodshed, a woman lunged between us, hands pressed together, chanting prayers at maximum speed. O great God of light, most merciful and magnificent, you who granted us illumination, you who granted us fire, you who granted. White wings burst from her back. A halo appeared above her head. A god was now watching. I shrugged and turned away. Lucky for this interrupting prayer lady. 1 second slower, and I would have cut through her and the noble. I don't give God's face. The woman, some plain-looking priestess, pointed at Charles Ross and declared in the name of the god, you are now bound by divine law. You may not harm this lost lamb through any means or schemes. Violate this, and divine punishment falls. Even a demigod couldn't save you. Charles Ross had no choice but to nod. Under a god's direct gaze, any oath was absolute. Breaking it meant death. No noble title, no family power could protect him. Some nearby God servant was explaining to me how their class worked. We sacrifice everything to God and receive divine power in return. We can channel gods, summon their attention. Even great nobles, royalty, Holy Spirit beings, and demigods must show respect when a God servant invokes divine authority. Our support auras are the real deal. Unlike those knockoff mage buffs, I cut him off. Cool story. But who are you? Even Alicia was confused. She'd been about to go full Dragon King Returns mode, release her sealed power, and save me herself. Someone beat her to it. The plain-faced woman turned to me with a gentle smile. My name is Linger. Noah, you really forgot me? I'm so disappointed. It's me, your pen pal. My jaw dropped. I pointed at her with a trembling finger. Why you? You. It's you. Back at the hotel, Kofuner was standing with her arms crossed, radiating enough killing intent to wilt flowers. I snapped to attention like a soldier. Noah. Present. A beggar is your friend. A God servant is your pen pal. Any other secret companions I should know about? Tell me everything. I need to plan our future. Behind me, Alicia was frowning. She was thinking something like, when I reveal my true self, I'll be much gentler with Noah. A strong man having friends, even many women, is normal. I'd set the example as the proper main wife, and then her face went tomato red and she squatted down, burying her head. Ashamed of her own thoughts, Linger, my pen pal, started stirring the pot immediately. She winked at me and said, Noah, that first love you described in your letters, gentle, beautiful, noble beyond words. I haven't seen her anywhere. All I see is a jealous shrew. Actually, strictly speaking, we've been sharing our hearts for 8 years. We have secrets only we know. Shouldn't we be considered each other's first love? Remember when you were 11 and found that field of flowers? You mailed me the prettiest ones. We called that our romance. My scalp went numb. This friend had suddenly sprouted devil wings. Kofuner's pupils quaked. She shoved my stiff, frozen body aside, marched up to Linger, and towered over her like a mother hen guarding her territory. Noah judges people by soul and heart, not appearances. That's one of his finest qualities. Linger nodded sweetly. MMHM, Noah is wonderful. I totally agree. People who only care about looks, status, and power are disgusting maggots. My Noah is so handsome. My Noah? Kofuner let out a cold laugh, interrupting the main wife mid-sentence. How rude. Let me be blunt. With your face, I wouldn't even approve you as a concubine. I'm currently cursed, but when I get my real body back, I'll show you what true beauty is. To qualify as Noah's concubine, you need at least 60% of MY looks. Linger's eyes flashed. She stood up, examined Kofuner carefully, then prayed briefly. Her eyes glowed gold with divine power, and she saw through the curse. Threads of hatred wrapped around Kofuner's body like a cocoon, hiding her true form underneath. This is a vicious curse. I've never seen this type before. Then she flopped onto the sofa, all casual. Even if you're beautiful underneath, how do you know this isn't a disguise too? Maybe I need to throw your own words back at you. 60% minimum, or no concubine qualifications. After all, MY Noah is going to beat Alicia and become the world's greatest swordsman. And after that, Noah and I have other plans together. Things we agreed to do. Fun things, right, my cute Noah? She winked at me. I swallowed hard. 2 sets of murderous eyes were locked onto me, Kofuner's and the beggar's. Wait, why was the beggar glaring too? Linger dangled a carrot at Kofuner. If you call me big sister, I'll consider helping break your curse. Don't forget, I'm a God servant. Curse breaking is part of our training. Both Kofuner and Alicia went. Alicia's head snapped up. She'd figured it out. This, Kofuner, was the same magical genius who'd stood alongside herself and Daling years ago. The proud mage prodigy, now trapped in a cursed body even more pitiful than her own beggar disguise. And this, Linger, had just revealed she had secrets too. A God servant with hidden identity. Could she possibly be Saint Daling herself? If so, the entire Immortal Stars trio was gathered around me. All 3 women falling for the same guy? Fighting over who's the main wife. Alicia shook her head violently. Impossible. Absolutely not. Then she caught herself thinking, help Kofuner break her curse. Then reveal MY true identity. Then have a proper battle for the position of main wife. Show them who really deserves. She slammed her face down again, her whole body burning. What was she thinking? Meanwhile, Kofuner went full declaration mode. Her voice dropped to ice. Her gray eyes became frozen arrows pointed at Ling. My name is Kofuner, the greatest magical talent in all of history. I once stood alongside hero Alicia and Saint Daling as the immortal stars. Alicia's nails dug into her own arms. She just said it, out loud, no hesitation. Linger was so shocked she fell off the sofa. Noah is my love, my partner in life and death. I am the main wife. I don't care about your agreements with him. He and I have faced death together. Even to the underworld, even to the realm of gods. I will never leave his side. Your hidden identity and face mean nothing to me. But if you dare use, insult, or betray Noah's trust, I will kill you. The main wife has the right to discipline concubines. That's my duty. Sensing things were getting too intense, I opened my mouth to say something, and both of them kicked me out of the room. I found myself in the hallway with Alicia. We looked at each other. Then, without a word, we both pressed our ears against the door. Inside, Linger set up a barrier. 3 unprecedented geniuses, each receiving orders one day to meet at the capital. The banquet spotlight belonged to only 3 people. Kofuner's fists clenched. Her suspicion about Linger's identity was solidifying. Linger continued. Alicia received the position of imperial heir. Daling became head of the Yellow Dragon Empire's religious affairs. And a mage from a small family named Kofuner received the national treasure, the staff of the former demigod. Mage, God Merlin. That day, the Yellow Dragon Emperor named the 3 of them the immortal stars that illuminate history. She scoffed at herself. Not that the title meant anything. The 3 never became friends. Maybe met a handful of times at events arranged by powerful people. Probably exchanged fewer than 10 sentences total. Daling secretly despised the whole arrangement. She looked down on self-righteous Alicia. She resented smug Kofuner. 2 idiots who didn't even realize they were puppets being manipulated. Kofuner lowered her head. No argument. She remembered her old self, displaying talent, getting recruited by grand mage mentors, following orders like a puppet without a soul, used up until there was nothing left. Linger teased. TSK, TSK, TSK. Alicia somehow figured out the truth, and that coward ran. Then Kofuner vanished, memories erased by the divine artifact. I had zero interest in what happened to her. When can a caged bird fly? That's a line from Noah's letters that resonated with my soul. Kofuner, Daling, Alicia, all 3 were just caged birds. Daling understood her cage at age 3 and learned to wear a mask. Alicia discovered it at 14 and chose to flee. Kofuner never realized it at all, so her fate. Makes sense. Kofuner took a deep breath. Cut the nonsense. What do you want, Daling? You want to use Noah as a tool to break your cage? Then get out. I'll plan Noah's future myself, and that future has nothing to do with you. So she'd said it. Daling. My pen pal was Saint Daling, the holiest woman in the church, the 3rd member of the immortal stars. Daling stepped forward. Kofuner stepped forward, chest to chest, eyes locked. Then Daling leaned to Kofuner's ear and whispered something only they could hear. Kofuner's eyes went wide. Pure shock. You. Daling pulled back, confident. If you refuse this offer, fine. I have countless believers whose bodies I can possess whenever I want. You can't stop me from being near Noah. But if you accept me joining your group, I'll help you get the divine artifact stealing sky, swapping Sunday. Kofuner wrestled with her thoughts. Next thing I know, the door opened and Linger was hanging off my arm like we'd been best friends forever. From now on we're a trio. Plus the beggar. Basically a bootleg hero party. I yawned. Whatever. Alicia blinked. What just happened in there? Kofuner huffed, but didn't object. She pulled out the communication devices she'd crafted, magical stones that let us talk and share locations within 10,000 miles. 1 each. Today's the auction. Noah buys a sword. I buy a soul-gathering ring. You 2 buying anything? Linger raised her hand. Nothing for me. Captain Kofuner. I shook my head. Already got a divine sword. Spend everything on curse-breaking materials. Alicia, you got scammed. A divine sword? Really? Kofuner gave me a skeptical look. Divine sword? I stood with my hands on my hips and laughed. Witness greatness. It took me 13 years to find a sword worthy of me. Ha ha. Ah ha ha. I slowly drew Heaven's cry. Light erupted from the blade like a star being born. I only pulled it halfway out, and Alicia's eyeballs nearly popped from her skull. She blurted out, "God's cry? That's impossible." I left God's cry at the church. Daling and Kofuner's pupils shrank to needles. They exchanged one look and both thought of the same person. Kofuner punched Alicia in the head to shut her up. Daling threw herself at me, acting cute. "Noah, big brother, you can step outside now. We've all seen how amazing the divine sword is." I was mid-cackle and hadn't even heard what Alicia said. I just stood there confused as the door slammed in my face. Again, barrier activated. Again. Inside, Daling and Kofuner stood with arms crossed, staring down at Alicia. "Fated hero Alicia Klein. If we report your location right now, the God's show can start. Hero versus Demon King. The performance begins." "Daling, can't you see Alicia is already pale as a ghost? If Noah saw you like this, he'd be so disappointed." Alicia pointed at Linger with a trembling finger. "Why will you? You're Saint Daling? But you look. How? You're supposed to be faithfully devoted to the church and the gods forever." Daling's face twisted with contempt. "Tsh. Who would actually be loyal to the church and the gods? I'm only loyal to my own thoughts and my own dignity. Now you should be thinking about how to stay on my good side, hero. You don't want Noah finding out who you are, do you?" Alicia was reeling. Her entire understanding of Daling had just been flipped upside down. Kofuner sighed and told the stunned Alicia to sit. "Judging others by appearance and first impressions, then assuming you understand their character, heart, and soul. That's the beginning of downfall." Noah said that. I love that quote. I don't care why you went crazy and disguised yourself as a beggar. You can keep traveling with us. We'll help hide your identity. Not for your sake. I just don't want Noah to be disappointed that the world's greatest swordsman is actually a coward hiding in rags. Making Noah happy is my responsibility as his partner. Daling, partner? Who's the wife and who's the concubine hasn't been decided yet. And you, miss, I only train magic and never exercised a single muscle in my body. Haven't even noticed that our dear hero Alicia is already in love with Noah." Kofuner stumbled back 2 steps. She grabbed Alicia's shoulders. "Alicia, say something." Alicia turned away. Couldn't meet Kofuner's eyes. Didn't deny it. She was amazed too. Daling's observation skills were terrifying. Just a few hours together, and she'd read every micro-expression, every stolen glance. Kofuner released her grip. "Fine. Whatever. Both of you. My magic will show you how powerless you really are. 2 concubines, nothing more. Remember to call me Big Sister." Daling. "Oh ho ho," big talk from someone wrapped in a cursed cocoon. Alicia, barely audible. I'm fine with anything. If my opponents are you two, then there's no problem." "What?" While the 3 of them were having what I can only describe as a warlord summit over who gets to be my main wife. A conversation I was not invited to and only caught muffled yelling through the door. I sat cross-legged in the hallway, entered meditation, and lit up my second character card. While those 3 were having their secret summit inside the room, I sat cross-legged in the hallway and entered meditation. My second character card had finally hit 100%. The image materialized. Kurosaki Ichigo. Main character of Bleach. Shinigami plus Quincy plus Hollow. Triple bloodline. Substitute Soul Reaper. The guy whose entire thing is protect. I nodded to myself. So that's the system's plan. Card 1. Zoro. Gave me fighting spirit, sword techniques, belief, and the Ashura sword way. Card 2 gives me limitless potential. Because honestly, armament hockey and conqueror's hockey are impressive, but they're still mortal-level powers. Can't extend my life. Can't reach the Holy Spirit realm. Can't become a god. In raw energy comparison, my armament hockey is actually weaker than same-level knights. Only my conquerors and observation hockey kept me competitive with real geniuses. Light from the cards swirled around me and seeped into my soul. Shinigami powers, flash step, shurikai. Can't teach others, hollow powers, sonito, enhanced burst. Can't teach others, Quincy, still blood armor. Can't teach others. All 3 fused at the highest level, Bankai. Can't teach others. These powers would grow as I grew. All I had to do was swear on my soul to protect those beside me. Done. Easy oath. Already my lifestyle. The light flooded into my soul instantly. Then the side effect hit. My ears twitched. From now on, I can't hear enemy trash talk. Can't understand enemy begging for mercy. Can't comprehend riddle-speaking mysterious types. I'll just cut them down. Holy letter D, def. What did you say? My body underwent a complete transformation. A new energy, spiritual power fused with hockey, erupted from my heart, flowing through every cell. Old injuries healed. My mortal body's limits got pushed infinitely higher. My soul's hidden potential upgraded to its current maximum. At the same time, Heaven's Cry's sword spirit merged with my soul. We went beyond man and sword unity to heart and sword unity. My soul's power flowed into Heaven's Cry, and she, yes, she, manifested a form. She understood Shirkai and Bankai before I did. She looked down at my inner world. A crystal-clear lake, air full of peace, a white moon shining over everything. Ha ha ha. Noah, get in here. You forced me awake, and I'm still annoyed about it. Now I can beat you up. Ha ha. I opened my eyes. My energy density, thickness, quality, leagues beyond what I had before. My level jumped from 4 to 5. Level 5 night. Noah. Age 18. Noah. Can you hear me? Time froze around me. I was pulled into my inner world. Noah, come fight me. You want Shirkai and Bankai? Beat me first. I figured it out in less than a second. The voice belonged to Heaven's Cry, my sword. This was my inner heart realm, and she'd evolved along with me. I followed the voice to the center of a forest, a pristine lake reflecting the moon perfectly, and standing on the water's surface was a little girl, chubby cheeks, pudgy hands, adorable face, holding a full-size version of Heaven's Cry that was bigger than her entire body, wearing a dress the same color as my scabbard. Long white hair draped to her chest, barefoot on the lake. Why you? Why are you a lowly? You're supposed to be a cold, stoic sword spirit. If not that, at least be a mature beauty. I don't do children. The lake started churning from my chaotic thoughts. Little Heaven's Cry puffed her cheeks and put her hands on her hips. You're the pervert. I was sealed away and never properly fought anyone. By age standards, I'm obviously a child. Besides, my appearance is generated from your soul's power. So if I look like this, it just proves you're a lowly obsessed creep. I pointed at my own face, horrified. Me? A lowly fan. In my past life, I never once watched that kind of stuff. Mature women and beautiful young ladies are my dream. I'll accept gorgeous older women too. Don't slander me. Heaven's Cry gave me a look of pure disgust. Whatever. I chose to follow you, so I'm stuck with you, pervert trashfish master. Now fight me. Bankai is about 100 million training points away. Learn Shirkai first and push it to the limit. If you don't satisfy me, I'll kill you. I didn't get woken up from eternal sleep just to be disappointed. I shook my head. I couldn't bring myself to fight a child. Clang. She was in my face. Bloodthirsty grin. Sword slashing upward, blade stopping 1 inch from my throat. I drew on instinct. Clank. Our spiritually manifested swords clashed, sparks flying. But I'd reacted too late. She broke through my technique instantly and pressed her blade to my neck. She dragged the edge lightly across my cheek, then turned the blade behind her back. Waiting. That I'm sorry, Heaven's Cry. I judged you by appearance. The most basic mistake. I just got new power and let pride make me careless. Thank you for the wake-up call. I stepped back, adjusted my stance. Rashomon, she mirrored me perfectly. Same technique. We collided, clang. After another exchange, I had a bleeding hole in my left shoulder and wounds covering my body. Heaven's Cry? Not a scratch. Close, she said, with a tiny approving smile. Conqueror's hockey, armament hockey, observation hockey, the Ashura sword way. Everything you know, I know. That new merged power, spiritual energy, I know that too. Until you completely satisfy me, I won't give you the release command. My true power. That world-shaking first sword of Shirkai. Was I discouraged? Never. I threw my head back and laughed at the moon. Ha! So my swordsmanship still has this many flaws. And you haven't even used flash step, hollowification, or still blood armor. You haven't shown me Shirkai's abilities. My blood is boiling. Heaven's Cry. She stiffened and mumbled quietly. Flash step, hollowification, still blood armor. You haven't used them yet, so I don't know them either. And I can't use Shirkai until you satisfy me. I want to use it too. Thanks to holy letter D, def. I heard none of that. I charged in again. What followed was carnage. Conqueror's hockey lightning tore through my inner world. Debris and smoke everywhere. Heaven's Cry stood wreathed in thick black conqueror's haki, her pressure manifesting as a physical storm that could shatter any normal knight's mind. And in front of her me, covered in wounds deep enough to show bone. Blood dripping from my fingertips, soaking the sword grip. Bones creaking past their limits. Vision blurring. Body on the verge of collapse. But my spine? Never bent. Not 1 millimeter. We exchanged over 1,000 blows. I'd used the 3,000 world's ultimate technique over 100 times. She still had 0 wounds. All pain and exhaustion drained from my eyes. Only ice-cold determination remained. Heaven's Cry, thank you. Meeting you is the best thing that's happened to me. My voice was hoarse, but every word rang like steel. Then Conqueror's haki detonated from my body, ripping through her pressure dome, shattering the sky. Sword song filled the entire inner world. In that instant, the ultimate transformation. 2 phantom clones materialized beside me. 3 bodies, 6 swords, cold light gleaming. The 3-headed, 6-armed Ashura descended, an avatar of infinite slaughter. This was everything I had. The final gift from Card 1. Ashura unsheathed, Dance of the Dead. Heaven's Cry's expression went deadly serious. She mirrored me. 3 heads, 6 arms. Her own Ashura. Dance of the Dead, 2 voices. 2 identical techniques. No holding back. The collision was apocalyptic. The explosion split the heavens. Sword energy erupted into a storm spanning thousands of miles. Shockwaves punched through the thunderclouds and reached the moon. Metal screamed against metal. Sparks rained like falling stars. My Ashura clones shattered and dissolved. The backlash tore through my body, already wrecked from 1,000 exchanges. My hands split open. Arms ripped. Meridians spasmed. But my red eyes stayed locked on target. Teeth clenched so hard they could crack. Even with my body crumbling, I gripped that sword with everything I had left. The Ashura sword way does not yield. When the storm finally faded, a deep, bone-exposing wound was carved across Heaven's Cry's chest. Her eyes held nothing but satisfaction and joy. She looked at me, barely alive, breath nearly gone, and said in a low, raspy voice full of complete acceptance, "Noah, meeting you is the best thing that happened to me too." I collapsed, unconscious, but even fallen, the sword energy coiled around my body refused to dissipate. The inner world repaired itself. Gentle wind swept across the calm lake, across my unbroken sword spirit, across Heaven's Cry's white hair. Don't die, pervert trashfish Noah. Shirkai is yours now, but your body is too weak, level 7 minimum, or the power will tear you apart from the inside. She sent my unconscious self back to the real world. Then she looked up at the white moon and whispered, "Noah, I love your inner world. Get stronger. Make this realm expand. Reach infinity. The firmer your conviction, the stronger your will. The stronger your will, the mightier your sword heart and sword way. Never slack. Never get careless. I'll always be here to remind you, no weakness allowed. No despair permitted. Call my name." I woke up feeling like I'd been soaking in a hot spring. Didn't want to open my eyes. But voices calling my name kept getting louder. "Noah, what happened to you 3? How long was I asleep?" 3 worried faces stared down at me. I reached up and touched Kofuner's cheek. Nodded thanks to Linger who'd been healing me. Winked at Alicia. "You slept for an entire day and night. We couldn't wake you. What happened? I can feel your energy is way stronger. Level 5 night now. Did you go berserk during cultivation? Noah, your energy doesn't feel like it was trained through normal methods. I could help you dissolve it and restart properly." Kofuner, Daling, Alicia, all 3 at my bedside, genuinely worried. I smiled confidently and released a gentle wave of spiritual energy. It materialized as white mist flowing from my body, not wild and violent like before, but calm and steady. All 3 touched it simultaneously. Kofuner analyzed. "Fascinating energy. This is power derived from the soul itself." Daling added, "What we call divine power is technically the gods, stimulating a being's latent soul energy and granting it back." Alicia, "The Holy Spirit realm is reached by exploring your own soul, awakening its power, and breaking natural law. True transcendence. 10,000-year lifespan. Touching time and causality. Noah's ceiling has been raised to the same starting line as the real geniuses." My mouth twitched. Kofuner being brilliant, expected. But Linger too? And the beggar? Since when does a homeless drunk understand transcendent cultivation theory? The three of them took turns analyzing, and within minutes they'd basically figured out that spiritual power was soul-derived energy. Which was exactly what it was. On the way to the auction. What? Say that again. I pointed at Alicia, jaw on the floor. I can't understand you. Alicia grabbed my ear and yelled directly into it. I'm a girl. My name is Liai. I had reasons to disguise myself. My real appearance is just as beautiful as Ko-Funer and Ling, and oh, my figure is better, and I'm prettier than both of them. I can completely fulfill your beautiful girl dreams. Are you satisfied? Noah, I want to walk with you to the very end. This time I heard it. I nodded slowly. You're a girl? And you've teamed up with Linger and Ko-Funer? Alicia gave a big thumbs up pointing at herself, grinning like an idiot. Since Daling and Ko-Funer had already uncovered her, there was no point hiding anymore. Daling glanced at Alicia, who was now radiating burning love from every pore, and smirked. Technically, little Liai here is our servant. Tonight she has to bring both of us our foot-washing water. Ko-Funer nodded. She's a concubine. I have the authority to order her to do anything that doesn't go against Noah's wishes. She can't refuse. Alicia's gray tuft of hair shot straight up. Her face turned into a grid of anger marks. I'll murder you both. Right here. Right now. Daling dove into my arms. Oh no. I'm so scared, Noah, big brother. Protect me, even the servants are getting uppity these days. By the way, Noah, remember that Dragon King Returns novel you wrote me about? Those Dragon Kings who pretend to be weak and useless? The 3-year seal, the crooked smile wore God. I wonder if our little servant Liai might be. Alicia's heart seized. See, cough, cough. Actually, serving friends is totally normal. No big deal. Ko-Funer extended her hand to Alicia with perfect poise, a reward from the main wife to her concubine. Alicia's face was twitching so hard her teeth ground together audibly. Watching the three of them bicker was genuinely entertaining. It was like classmates messing with each other, playful, competitive, but with real affection underneath. I wasn't going to interfere. I'm not some dense web novel protagonist or an idiot. All three of these women chose to follow me on this journey. I won't betray any of their feelings. We walked into the auction venue, and nobody stopped us. No security guard looked down on us. No arrogant young master sneered and tried to throw us out. No dramatic entrance where I unleash my aura and shock the crowd, while some gorgeous noble princess falls for me from across the room. Nothing. I was genuinely upset. Ko-Funer ruffled my hair. What's wrong now? Isn't there supposed to be a scene where security kicks us out? Then some idiot rich kid mocks us. Then I flex my aura. Everyone goes silent, and a beautiful noble girl gets curious about the mysterious handsome stranger. Ko-Funer grabbed my collar and spun me like a windmill. Stop fantasizing about things that don't exist, idiot Noah. Alicia gave me her patented, looking at a moron, expression. Drink some water, idiot. And stop reading those garbage novels with Linger. Dragon King Returns? Crooked smile wore God. Wife in the horse stable? Divine doctor descends the mountain? What is that trash? Linger held my hand sweetly. We already registered and verified our funds when we signed up. Plus you're the guy who confronted a great noble for Liai. Every faction in Moonlight City has already investigated you thoroughly. Also, you're walking in with 3 women. Every noble girl in here thinks you're a degenerate with zero taste. Nobody is falling in love with you. Ha 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 ha, you're OURS. This is forbidden territory that commoners cannot enter. Ko-Funer crossed her arms. The only thing she said that I agree with. Alicia gave Linger a thumbs up. Well said. My Dragon King dreams shattered into dust. We got escorted to a private box. Inside, gourmet food, fine wine, and beautiful maids kneeling to serve us. I hadn't even finished smiling before all 3 women united as one and kicked the maids out. Facing the combined killing intent of 3 legendary women, I obediently stood at attention facing the wall. Then a soft, childish voice echoed in my mind. What a pathetic master. Even I can't watch this anymore. Heavens cry. That little brat was mocking me. I gripped her hilt. How dare? Your body is too weak. Use this chance to eat everything. Activate life, return to accelerate nutrient absorption. Otherwise, when you use Shirkai, your body won't survive. What did you say? You can already use Shirkai, but your body is too fragile and your spiritual energy is too low for sustained release. let alone permanent shirkai. Now turn into a pig beastman and eat. Do you hear me? You deaf pervert trash fish master. This time I heard it. The shirkai release command was already carved into my soul like a brand. I could use it, but my body couldn't handle it yet. Not enough spiritual energy for long-duration release. Bankai was a distant dream. Linger, Liai, help Kofuner by the curse-breaking items. I need to eat. I sat down, grabbed food with both hands, and became a machine. Kofuner, having lived with me for over 2 years, calmly explained to the confused Alicia and Daling. Noah uses a unique body refinement technique called life return that lets him absorb 100% of all nutrients from food. Don't worry about him being full. He once ate an entire 10-ton magical beast in half a day. Daling's eyes lit up. In his letters, Noah wrote, "There's no food I can't finish, only food that isn't enough." I thought he just meant he doesn't waste food. So this is what he meant. Alicia, then there's no problem. There was a problem. For the kitchen, down in the venue, Moonlight City's Lord, Kogi Newt, was in the middle of high-level political negotiations about profit distribution when his butler approached with a disturbed expression. The city lord's face froze, recovered, then he continued his meeting, until he couldn't ignore it anymore. This kid a monster. That's 30 tons of food. For the first time in his life, the city lord personally visited the kitchen. The chefs were collapsed on the floor from exhaustion. Newly hired replacements took one look and ran. The butler explained awkwardly, "The other guests would like some food, but there's nothing left. An entire month's worth of provisions prepared for all auction guests has been consumed by this Noah kid. He's still saying he's hungry." Political battles, military campaigns, power struggles. Kogi Newt handled them all with ease. But this? He stood frozen. Ship in our household reserves. Transfer our home chefs, servants, everything. Buy premium ingredients from the market. Hire God servants to buff the cooking staff. And never report food issues to me again. Give everyone raises. He stormed out with a black face. In his entire career, he'd never imagined facing this kind of crisis. Meanwhile, my body was inflating like a balloon, then compressing back to normal, inflating, compressing, cycling through as life return converted everything. Daling and Alicia watched with hands over their mouths. Alicia handed me water. Daling wiped my face. Kofuner yelled at the staff to bring food faster. "Noah, your training is nothing like normal knights," Alicia said. I nodded. In this world, commoners become extraordinary through schools. Mages develop spiritual power and elemental affinity. God servants pray at churches until some god answers. But knights need a teacher, special medicine, and guided training to break open their body-sealed energy points. I never had a teacher. Never went to school. So naturally my power and techniques are completely different from standard knights. Alicia jumped in eagerly. "While we're working on Kofuner's curse, I could be your teacher. Start you from the basics." I shook my head. "Thanks, but my path is already set. Learning this world's fundamentals now wouldn't fit." "Wait, are you a knight too?" "Actually, I could teach you instead." I tried teaching Kofuner, but her curse blocks everything. Armament hockey, observation hockey, sword techniques, none of it sticks. Conqueror's hockey, though, that's an inborn quality. Maybe you too have it as well. Kofuner has the potential. She understood instantly that Conqueror's is essentially spiritual willpower made manifest. Her curse just prevents activation. Linger covered her mouth, giggling. Alicia froze, embarrassed. 2 legendary prodigies being offered lessons by a self-taught orphan swordsman. The audacity. Kofuner immediately went to bat for me like the main wife she declared herself to be. Just 2 concubines doubting their master's abilities? Let me educate you. Conqueror's hockey suppresses enemies and purges mind-affecting debuffs. Armament hockey's advanced technique Ryuo provides armor penetration and ranged internal strikes. Observation hockey predicts enemy movements, reads emotions, senses positions, and at its peak, sees the future. Noah can currently see 30 seconds ahead, active at will, improving as his level rises. For a mage to see the future, that requires level 10 minimum. Can knights predict the future? Can god servants? The divine trial for precognition kills you if you fail. Now do you 2 concubines still dare say you don't want to learn? Predict the future? Daling and Alicia both jumped like they'd been electrocuted. Because seeing the future? That's god territory. The future and the past are under divine jurisdiction. Mages who try precognition magic burn through all their mental energy and might sacrifice years of their lifespan just to catch a few blurry visions. God's servants have to pass a divine trial, and the gods only give hints, not full previews. If you fail the trial, you die. Knights can read opponents through experience, predict moves from combat patterns, sense killing intent, but that's not actually seeing the future. Seeing the future without paying a price? Even Holy Spirit realm beings can't do it. Maybe demigods, but nobody's confirmed that. I stood with my hands on my hips, grinning like a champion. Surprised? Happy? Wanna learn, you too? Daling launched herself into my chest. Noah, big brother, I wanna learn. If I master observation hockey, I can meet you in my real body sooner. Then we can cuddle not in this borrowed body but the real me, Kofuner and Alicia, in perfect unison. Shameless. Using that move? Alicia hesitated though. I could see the gears turning. She was worried that if she learned my techniques and later fought me after revealing her true identity, any victory would feel like cheating. Stolen techniques. Not a fair duel. Kofuner noticed and quietly talked her through it. Noah has never cared about fair or unfair. His exact words, fair dueling is nothing but a mirage reflected on water. Life is unfair from the second you're born. Disasters and bad luck come one after another. That's just how the world works. Does crying and begging for fairness summon a savior? Seeking so-called fair conditions is itself an act of cowardice. When demons invade, when natural disasters hit, when gods play their games, they never give you prep time. They never offer fair terms. Even if you learn observation hockey, it doesn't guarantee you'll beat him. Liai, your conviction and mental fortitude are below Noah's. Your only advantage right now is that your physical body and energy level are stronger. That's it. So relax and learn. When Noah eventually faces Alicia, knowing she's even stronger will only make him more excited. Alicia went quiet. Then her cloudy eyes turned steel. Thank you, Kofuner. I'll find myself again on this journey while we break your curse. I'll rebuild from the ground up and give Noah a surprise. Kofuner waved dismissively. A concubine's gratitude isn't needed. Keeping my man happy at all times is the main wife's duty. You just need to be a good substitute in bed when I'm tired. Alicia's teeth nearly cracked from grinding. I just started liking you, and it's already back to negative. How did I never notice you were this insufferable? Kofuner. Huh? The stray dog baring its teeth. Amusing. After several deep breaths, Alicia gave up arguing and came to sit beside me for lessons. Inside the private box, Kofuner was browsing the auction catalog on a screen, tapping items, entering bid prices, basically online shopping for curse-breaking materials. If nobody outbid her when the item came up, she'd win it automatically. I grabbed Daling's and Alicia's hands and channeled all three types of hockey through my palms. Thin black-red lightning crackled around their fingers, conquerors. Their hands felt like they'd been wrapped in invisible gauntlets, armament. And then came the sensation of knowing without seeing, observation. Observation hockey lets you sense enemies without using your five senses. Everyone's version develops differently depending on personality and life experience. No two people have the same observation. At its absolute peak, you see the future. Since you're interested in observation, I'll focus on that. Armament and conquerors will cover on the side. After my level up, my observation range covers 50 kilometers. Right now it's active. I can see 30 seconds into the future continuously as long as I keep it running. Only costs mental energy and stamina. Daling's hand was going numb from touching the manifested conqueror's hockey lightning. Inside this borrowed believer's body, the divine power was getting compressed by the hockey. If she didn't actively push back, it was basically sealed. Conqueror's hockey requires natural talent. This body definitely doesn't have it. But my real body, maybe, I'll treat it as a trick shot. Observation is the real trump card. Alicia understood all three types faster than Daling. Different strengths between a warrior and a priestess. She ran one mental simulation and her body just did it. Black energy wrapped around her raised arm, her own armament hockey. First try. She shook her arm out, grinning. Flow the energy into the opponent's body and its Ryuo, internal strike. Coat your body and its invisible armor. Against same-level opponents, knights, mages, god servants. It adds maybe 0.5% to your win rate. I wasn't surprised. Observation hockey had already shown me this future. Liai's talent was beyond mortal. Then both Daling and Alicia realized something simultaneously. They exchanged a look of pure horror. Conquerors and armament were impressive but manageable. Observation hockey was broken. Neither of them had detected any change in my aura when I activated it. Nothing. Zero. If I were an enemy, every move they'd make for the next 30 seconds was already playing in my head like a movie. And as long as I kept it running, their entire future was in my hands. Are there any limitations? Countermeasures? They asked from both sides. Of course, first, you need calm focus. Emotional disturbance weakens the effect. Second, seeing the future doesn't mean you can dodge it. Your body's speed and reactions have to keep up. Third, a beginner's observation can't break through a higher-level being's pressure. When I was 6, I challenged a swordsman above my level. My observation couldn't accurately read his moves. I had to gamble everything on one strike to kill him. Then his disciples chased me for over a month. I healed up, went back, and killed them all. Fourth, long-range prediction and wide-area sensing drain mental energy fast. When you're exhausted, no more future vision. Fifth, observation killing can counter observation hockey. Cloaking yourself with Conqueror's hockey hides your presence and breaks the sensing chain, canceling the opponent's predictions. Daling and Kofuner, two super geniuses, immediately brainstormed dozens of tactical countermeasures in seconds. Then mid-explanation, I froze. My observation hockey caught something. Something in the next 30 seconds. Kofuner, we're leaving. The auction is over. We can grab our items without paying now. My voice switched to command mode instantly. No playfulness. No jokes. Kofuner didn't ask why. She nodded. Daling and Alicia took 1 extra second to process, then understood. I'd seen the future. Something was about to happen at the auction. Someone causing trouble? Beastman Alliance? Sea domain races. We were already at the exit. I shook my head, staring at a specific direction inside the venue. Demons, Kofuner, Daling, and especially Alicia. All 3 faces went stone-cold serious. The moment we cleared the building, boom. A pillar of fire erupted from inside the auction hall, punching through the ceiling into the sky. The 3 girls launched into a synchronized exposition dump about demons while the auction hall burned behind us. Demons, created by the Abyss evil god. No emotions, no gender. Only killing gives them joy, regeneration, and life force far beyond same-level beings. Ranked the same way, 1 through. Holy to demigod, level 6 and above develop intelligence, which means this attack is coordinated by at least a level 6 demon, probably with traders helping from inside. I cut them off. Enough with the narrator mode, you 3. The demons already grabbed the auction goods and bolted while you were giving a Wikipedia lecture. Kofuner comes before the world's safety for me. Saving humanity? I'll do it if I feel like it. Kofuner didn't get emotional or teary-eyed. No. Oh no, you'd choose me over the world drama. She just nodded. This is exactly why she loves me. I'm selfish in all the right ways. She turned to the other 2. If you 2 concubines can't handle Noah's style, then part ways here. No hard feelings. And we left. Walked away from the burning auction, the screaming crowds, the demon invasion. I didn't look back. Didn't try to convince anyone to follow. My philosophy is simple. Those who believe in me, walk with me. I'll protect you with my life. Betray me, die. Abandon me, I won't chase. Daling and Alicia stood frozen. Everything they'd been raised to believe, protect the people, fight evil, fulfill duty, was screaming at them to stay and help. Daling slapped her own cheeks. TCH. I thought I'd shaken off the church's brainwashing. Apparently not. Alicia, you stay and watch the show if you want. I'm going with Noah. I refused to let Kofuner have that smug look on her face. She jogged after us. Alicia's fists clenched and unclenched. She stood there until our shadows were almost gone. Then something clicked. If she didn't follow now, the bond between us would never burn this hot again. That beautiful future she'd been imagining, gone forever. The more deeply someone values a connection, the more cleanly they can cut it if they have to. And I would cut it. No hesitation. She followed. Behind us, Moonlight City was going to war. Barrier shields encased the entire city. Every night, mage and god servant mobilized. Teleportation arrays shut down. Trap the demons inside. Exterminate them all. Standard procedure. But I wasn't hunting demons for the city. I was tracking the one carrying Kofuner's auction items, specifically the soul-gathering ring that might help break her curse. My observation hockey had been running for almost an hour straight. Sweat dripped from my nose. Kofuner was worried. If you lost them, you lost them. You've had observation active way too long. The soul-gathering ring is just a possibility, not a guarantee. The curse mainly needs the oath fulfilled and the hatred purified. I waved her off. I'm fine. Up ahead, 4 buildings, left to right. Building 1, 200 level 2 demons. Building 2, 100 level 3 demons. Building 3, 30 level 4 demons. Building 4, 1 level 6 demon, and the level 5 demon carrying the goods is beside it. Pick your targets or stay here. Building 4 is mine. For lonely buildings stood before us in eerie silence, like the city had forgotten this corner existed. Kofuner walked toward Building 1 without looking back, the main wife of the world's greatest swordsman should naturally be the world's greatest mage. Daling headed for Building 2 with a confident smile. I'll come rescue you soon. Kofuner don't make Noah worry during his fight. Just yell for help like a good girl. She glanced back at Alicia, seeing battle intent burning in her eyes. Daling left Building 3 for her. If you can't handle it, just stay put. I'd rather not use divine power and accidentally trigger the God blessing sealed inside you. Her voice drifted from the distance. Alicia cracked her knuckles, armament hockey wrapping her body. Don't joke around. Armament is more than enough for this trash. She moved toward Building 3, faster than either of the other two. Flash step. Spiritual energy erupted. I vanished and reappeared at Building 4's entrance. Cling. Sword rang. Heads rolled. The human guards at the door were dead before they hit the ground. I walked inside, smiling. Wow. Bigger on the inside. At least a football field. Inside the massive hidden space, 2 demons in human disguise, 1 male, 1 female in appearance, were setting up a teleportation altar. The one with blue hair turned around with an expression of saintly compassion. Gentle voice like flowing water. Being followed was your mistake. The big one bowed immediately. I'm sorry, Lord Arnos. I'll deal with him now. Go. Then atone for your failure with your life. Yes. The big demon leaped off the altar, his human arms transforming into monster claws, reaching for my skull. No introductions. Why waste time on a dead man? I didn't dodge. Didn't flinch. Let those razor claws get right up close. Then swung. He never saw the blade move. By the time his brain caught up, he was in 2 pieces. Mirror clean cut. Both halves blinked their one remaining eye. The legendary demon regeneration tried to kick in, and failed. Heaven's Cry's pure blade quality was enough to permanently kill demons who could normally heal from anything. A few seconds later, his eyes went dull. Dead. Instant killing a same-level demon. Not bad. Human. Nice sword. But challenging a demon above your level? Only the fated hero can do that. That sword is a joke against me. Arnos stepped off the altar. In a blink he was in my face. Blue hair lashed out like whips, coiling around me. Clang, clang, clang. Blade and hair clashed dozens of times in an instant. Sparks erupted. We crossed paths in midair. Time froze for 1 heartbeat. Crack. Blue strands fell to the ground. His long hair was now short. Heaven's Cry gleamed cold in my hand. Sorry, what were you saying? I didn't hear you. Arnos knelt down and picked up his fallen hair. I see. Swordmaster Realm. That level does grant the right to challenge above your grade. My apologies. I only used 1% just now to avoid damaging the altar. Now I've determined I need to kill you at full power immediately. He gave me an elegant curtsy, the kind a noblewoman would do. Classy demon. When he raised his head, his killing intent made the air itself vibrate. My shoulders shifted involuntarily. The atmosphere turned thick and suffocating. Genuine pressure. The kind I hadn't felt in a long time. I grinned wide and charged in swinging. Elsewhere in the other 3 buildings, Kofuner walked into 200 demons alone, armed with nothing but magical tools and absolute genius. Daling dropped to her knees and called down divine punishment from the sky. And Alicia went in fists first, pure armament hockey, no sword, no divine power, just raw violence against 30 level 4 demons. While I was dealing with Building 4, the girls were handling their own business. Kofuner went full genius mode in building 1. She combined lightning magic with geological magic through her enchanted tools to create something that shouldn't exist, an electromagnetic cannon. A silver-white beam of pure destruction erupted from her golden staff, vaporized every demon in its path, blasted through the building, shattered the barrier, and kept going into the sky. 200 level 2 demons. Gone. Just like that. She walked out through the rubble wrapped in an electromagnetic shield net, dusting herself off. Can't even communicate with brainless maggots. No wonder those other two are only fit to be concubines. Daling took building 2 the God-servant way, kneeling and praying. She summoned a golden array that materialized spirit warriors from the divine realm. Dead heroes brought back to fight demons. Both sides went all-out offense, no defense, pure mutual destruction until every demon was wiped out. She finished 1 minute and 20 seconds after Kofuner. When she walked out and saw Kofuner's smug expression, she exploded. This is a borrowed body. If I were in my real form, I'd have instant killed that trash. Kofuner shrugged. Sure. The closest to God's saint in history was a minute 20 slower than a cursed mage. I totally believe you. Ha ha ha. Daling was grinding her teeth so hard you could hear it from across the street. Boom! A figure came flying out of building 3 and skidded past both of them. They instantly switched to combat mode. Daling buffed them both with divine auras. Kofuner raised her staff. Don't bother. Alicia walked out of the smoke, face covered in blood, grinning, holding a demon's severed arm. I'm just warming up. Even without breaking my seal, this body is a solid level 10 knight. Fine then. Both of them stood down, though they kept their guards up. Alicia tossed the arm back at the demons, jumped above them, cocked her fist, and punched straight down. Destroy. Pure brute force plus armament hockey. The air cracked. The ground cratered. But the demons started regenerating. Armament's armor-piercing effect? Meaningless against demon tier regeneration. So she changed tactics. She lightly grabbed a blade of grass from the ground. One wisp of sword intent flowed into it. The grass became a razor-sharp divine sword radiating killing frost. One flash of light across the ground. Done. She flicked the grass away, already soft and floppy again, and dusted off her clothes. The demons were still trying to attack, not realizing their bodies had already been dissected. One by one, heads rolled, bodies shredded by lingering sword energy. Too fast. So fast their nervous systems hadn't caught up to being dead. Daling bit her finger nervously. Sword Saint Realm. Everything becomes a weapon. There it is again, Kofuner observed thoughtfully. Noah doesn't walk this path. His is the Ashura way. Respect nothing, fear nothing. All things are illusion. Only he is eternal. Somewhere far away, on the second continent, inside the church's treasure vault, God's cry trembled. Even across oceans, it sensed its master's sword intent awakening. The Pope, Luna, the previous generation's saint, looked at the ceiling and sighed. I arranged those coincidences hoping you'd escape the fate the gods designed for you. But here we are, can living beings only ever be the gods' toys? Daling, my daughter, before destiny's gears start turning again, enjoy what little freedom remains. That's all I can do. Meanwhile, building 4. My fight. Arnos had transformed into his true form, a winged monster with blade hands. We were going at it hard. Over 100 clashes per minute, energy shockwaves shattering the ground, the building's barrier inflating like a balloon. I was honestly just having fun. Using only my standard kit. Armor-piercing critical damage, shredding sword energy, plus observation hockey prediction. No flash step. No holification. No still blood armor. Definitely not Shurkai. And I was still clearly stronger than him. My blade carved across his chest, blood spraying. The pain made his smile freeze. Then he burst into even crazier laughter. Huh? How many years has it been? Finally, another human genius. His wings pulsed, and he came at me faster. Even with observation showing me every move 30 seconds ahead, I could only barely block. Boom! His strike pushed me back dozens of meters. We clashed again. I landed another cut on his thigh. Sparks bounced off his skin. The bastard was getting harder. No emotions, pure logic. His brain was analyzing my attack patterns in real time and redistributing energy to strengthen whatever I was targeting. Every intelligent demon does this. Adaptive combat AI in a monster body. I loved it. My bloodlust was singing. I cut him again, grabbed both his arms with my left hand, and went for his neck. But Arnos dropped all his energy defenses, let Heaven's Cry stab into his body, and used his height advantage to headbutt me. At this range, observation could see it coming, but my body couldn't dodge. So I headbutt him right back. Conqueror's headbutt. Crack. Black-red lightning. Shockwave. Ground split open. We both flew back over 10 meters. My head was split and bleeding. His injuries were already healing. The stamina gap between humans and demons was disgusting. I enjoyed this greatly. I'll remember your face, human. Boom. His dark energy erupted into a pillar of pure malice reaching the sky. I threw my 3,000 worlds at him, but the sword energy shattered against his black aura before it even touched him. Heaven's Cry's cute little voice piped up. Having fun, Noah? This level of opponent, and you want to come out? I thought you liked the Dragon King Returns dramatic reveal too. True. This level doesn't deserve Shirkai. Hollowification and still blood armor are enough. Shirkai would be using a cannon to kill a chicken. She went quiet. Smart sword. Don't distract the master mid-fight. This level 6 demon wasn't worthy of seeing Shirkai. Bring me a level 7, then we'll talk. I raised my left hand to my face. Spiritual energy flooded my blood. Patterns emerged across my skin, still blood armor boosting defense. Then the mask formed. Hollowification amplifying explosive power. Boom! My energy pillar erupted. 3 times stronger than everything I'd shown so far. Arnos's eyes widened. That mask? This energy? Even a breakthrough can't triple your power instantly. I couldn't hear him. Deaf, remember? Dance of the Dead. My Ashura form blazed white, and I shot toward him like a bolt of lightning. He answered with his strongest attack. The building disintegrated. Rubble didn't even have time to pile up before the shockwave blew it all away. Just 2 figures crossing paths in the dust. Truly a human that must be eliminated for our king. I was careless enough not to preserve intelligence about you to bring back. A grave error. Thud. Arnos's body dissolved into smoke. Dead. Blood sprayed from a deep gash on my chest. Bone deep. Still blood armor isn't hard enough. Because your body is too weak. Keep eating. Get your spiritual energy up. Daling pressed her palms together and bathed me in golden healing light. Energy, stamina, mental fatigue, all recovering. Kofuner and I exchanged grins and high-fived. Then she went to collect our free merchandise from the wreckage. Alicia gave me a thumbs up. Dance of the Dead. That's your Ashura sword way. Genuinely impressive. Want to learn? I can teach you. Her eyes sparkled with a sudden idea. Sure, but let's make it a mutual exchange. Back at the hotel, the 3 girls were going through the loot we liberated from the demon hideout, and they were losing their minds. Dawn Redemption Blessing Staff. Elemental Dominion Force Spirit Necklace. Damage Reflection Crystal Choker. Spring Source Crystal Vase. Fortune Divination Cards. Purification Holy Spirit Fruit. 3 voices hitting notes that could shatter glass. I couldn't take it anymore. Linger early AI. You 2 have mysterious backgrounds. Fine. Whatever. I don't know what you're hiding. But Kofuner, you used to be the greatest magical genius in history. Weren't you swimming in artifacts like these before? 3 pairs of blood-red eyes turned on me simultaneously. My spine froze. I turned around and quietly counted my fingers facing the wall. Shut up. Don't disturb us. Then they found the last item. Not exactly a treasure. More like the display stand for another treasure. But all 3 went dead silent, pupils shrinking to pinpoints. This is the real reason the demons attacked the auction. The hand of Phantom Demon Emperor Rabiel. Those auction idiots are dumber than pig beast men. They used the severed hand of the most powerful demon king in history. The one who ruled the world for 500 years and caused the Great Extinction, as a jewelry display tray. Daling's forehead veins were bulging. Anyone who'd cracked a history book knew about Rabiel. 10,000 years ago, the first demon king broke through the divine seal, led his demons out of the abyss, and nearly wiped out all life. The strongest dragon clan, elf clan, phoenix clan, almost driven to extinction. The other beastman races, completely erased from history. Only when humanity's first hero emerged did the surviving races barely manage to defeat him and reseal the abyss. But since mortals aren't gods, the seal develops cracks over time. And some genius auction organizers thought it'd be a great idea to use the Demon King's actual hand as a novelty prop. For marketing, I raised my hand carefully. Rabiel? Strong guy? Alicia nodded with a grave expression and gave me the school textbook version. Apparently, it's literally lesson 1 in every academy. Kofuner laughed bitterly. This is humanity for you. They'll sell, betray, and abandon anything for profit. Whether the current Demon King wants to resurrect Rabiel or eat his remains for a power boost, I don't care. I just want my curse broken. Then I'll torture those 5 animals 1,000,000 times over. Then I'll torture God Lewis. Daling and Alicia went quiet. They'd suspected one of the 5 mentors had cursed Kofuner. Turns out all 5 did it together, with the demigod's full backing. There was no talking this out. No forgiveness. No reconciliation. Ever. They exchanged a look and laughed along with Kofuner's rage. What else could they do? The future was so chaotic that probably even the gods couldn't predict where this was heading anymore. Knock, knock. I opened the door. God's servants, mages, city guards, the 10th inspection today. They searched our room, found nothing, and left. 10 checks a day, morning and night. If you have time for this, maybe just open the city gates and teleportation arrays already. The city had been on lockdown since the demon attack. 1 whole month trapped inside. I used every second of that month wisely, diving into my inner world to train with Heaven's Cry. Using Shirkai in reality would destroy my body right now, but inside my mind, no limits. Clang. World-ending sword energy dissipated. I clutched my wounds, grinning like a maniac. Heaven's Cry combed her white hair, equally excited about the day she could unleash her power in the real world. Every sparring session pushed my experience bars higher. Locked in a city with nothing to do? Perfect. I got stronger every day. Ding dong. Moonlight City's bells rang. After 1 month, the lockdown lifted. Teleportation arrays reactivated. Gates opened. Civilians lined up to leave. Fighters queued for the arrays. Huh? We're not going back to Crystal Fortress? No more killing beastmen. I was confused about Kofuner's plan. Alicia and Daling cringed, glancing at the beastmen around us who were now glaring daggers at me. Kid, you're begging for a beating. I'll bite your tongue off, Kofuner patiently explained. We're going to the Adventurers Guild. They'll assign demon-related missions with top-tier rewards. That'll speed up the curse-breaking way faster than grinding beastmen at Crystal Fortress. Besides, with demons threatening everyone, humans and the Beastman Alliance won't have a real war anytime soon. I blinked. Still didn't get it. Whatever. Doesn't matter where we go. My life philosophy is simple. When in doubt, draw sword. Violence solves everything. No need for complicated scheming. Daling tried a more detailed explanation about how the 4 major powers, the Emperor, Dragon King, Sea King, and Pope, hadn't issued a joint statement confirming the Abyss Seal was compromised, so the demon incursion was being treated as infiltrators using special methods rather than a full invasion. The investigation would definitely be handed to the Adventurers Guild. I stared blankly. Then Alicia patted my shoulder. Just swing your sword. Don't think. See? I pointed at the other 2. You're the idiots. Look at Li AI. That's how you explain things. Clean and simple. Kofuner and Daling's temple veins were pulsing. We took a long-range teleportation array, 100,000 gold coins per trip, OUCH, and crossed tens of millions of kilometers to the Adventurers Guild headquarters on the first continent. During the transfer, something clicked. Before, I'd never understood spatial movement. But now, with Sonito as part of my abilities, I could actually see faint invisible lines flickering during the teleport. Were those the fabric of space itself? The magical elements forming the array? I couldn't tell yet, but the fact that I could perceive something was a start. When we materialized, Kofuner glanced at some Royal Magic Academy professors and students stepping out of another array and scoffed. Today's spatial mages are garbage. The theoretical framework I left behind years ago still hasn't been fully understood. Could have cut the travel time in half. Daling. Alicia. Meanwhile, my eyes were sparkling. So many strong fighters. All of them worth drawing my sword against. Alicia grabbed my hand before I could challenge anyone and started giving me a tour. Kofuner and Daling went to register and check available missions. This is the guild headquarters, after all. Missions are ranked by star count. 1 star at the bottom, 10 stars at the top, and besides missions. The food here is supposed to be incredible. Now that got my full attention. We arrived at Thunderhammer City, the Adventurers Guild headquarters on the first continent. Place was packed. Ever since the demon attack at Moonlight City's auction, adventurers from everywhere were flooding in for missions. We got to the assembly hall early and grabbed seats. Latecomers had to stand, and some of the not-so-polite latecomers started eyeing the easy targets to steal chairs from. Naturally, I looked like the easiest target. Alicia's disguise made her invisible. Daling's borrowed body radiated divine power. Nobody wanted a pop quiz from God. Kofuner's cursed face was terrifying enough to ward off anyone. Me? I was looking around with wide, curious eyes like a total newbie. Hey, kid. Some bloodstained meathead in armor tapped my shoulder. I glanced around the room and muttered, good thing I never came here before. Besides the guild staff, not a single person here is worth drawing my sword against. Daling whispered, we can't kill him. Not right now anyway. Alicia explained, the actually strong, unrestricted adventurers are upstairs in the VIP lounge drinking with guild leadership. Down here in the main hall, it's just unregistered nobodies trying to make a name. Like us. Kofuner said coolly, weed out the trash. Under your conqueror's hockey, anyone still standing is at least worth the guild's attention as a rising star. Permission granted. I let it RIP. Conqueror's hockey, now fused with spiritual power, erupted like a dark gold tidal wave. The air vibrated. The floor cracked into spiderweb patterns. Decorations disintegrated into dust. The pressure of 10,000 battles compressed into a single instant of absolute dominance, trying to crush the entire space into nothing. 50 kilometers of coverage. The wave hit everyone like a physical wall. Level 3 knights, mages, god servants, knocked unconscious instantly. Level 4s lasted maybe 5 seconds before foaming at the mouth and dropping. Level 5s who'd never been in real combat were drenched in sweat, shaking, gasping on their knees. Only a handful of level 5s and level 6 plus fighters stayed on their feet. 10 seconds later, the hall was empty except for my group. Everyone else, sleeping on the floor. None of my 3 companions were surprised. I hadn't even needed observation hockey. Just confidence. Click, 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 heels on stone. A woman emerged from backstage. Short hair at ear length, early 30s appearance, mature energy. Features weren't delicate, but her eyes carried a rare commanding presence that made her small frame seem towering. That's Lonnie, the Adventurers Guild's top public-facing authority. One of the world's renowned fighters from 100 years ago. The holy level beings stay behind the scenes. She runs things up front. My brain immediately went somewhere else. Over 100 years old, but looks 30? This is that aged wine, finer with time situation. If she wanted to sleep with me, technically she'd be the cougar eating tender grass. A soldier boy once told me older women are like aged liquor, richer flavor. With this appearance, I wouldn't exactly be losing. Wonder if she has a daughter. Would she let me have the family combo? Lonnie, who'd been walking forward with full intimidation energy, stumbled and nearly face-planted. Kofuner, Daling, Alicia, the 3 of them exchanged a nod, stood up in unison, clenched fists the size of cooking pots, and simultaneously hammered my skull. Bonk, bonk, bonk. 3 red bumps swelled up instantly. I briefly saw my great-grandmother beckoning from the afterlife. They apologized to Lonnie in formation. Our Noah is an idiot. We're sorry, please forgive his rudeness. He really is an idiot. Sorry. I'll train him better. Lonnie took a deep breath, recovered her composure, and smiled. Swordmaster Noah. Lives up to his reputation and his intelligence reports. Loves to fantasize. Indeed, she got down to business. The guild is issuing an unrestricted S-rank mission. Reinforce the dimensional seals and eliminate remaining demons. I was sleeping peacefully from the triple hammer concussion. The 3 girls stood expressionless. Since nobody asked questions, Lonnie continued. The seals in question aren't the main abyss entrance. They're the weak spots that demons have found to sneak through. These are scattered across all 4 continents. Kofuner interrupted. Rewards. Lonnie smiled, turned, and 3 holographic projections appeared. Reward 1. The reincarnation mirror. Creates a simulated version of the real world inside it. People and objects can exist within, and although you can't bring anything out, Reward 2. Immortal flame. a sacred relic of the extinct Phoenix clan. Just one tiny wisp, but its power is unchanged. Crafted into a protective charm, and it grants one resurrection from death. Reward 3. The Throne of Kami Kingdom. Instant noble status. With enough ambition, you could build it into the next Yellow Dragon Empire. Find all 108 breach points. Have church personnel seal them. Complete half and your deposit is refunded. The team or individual who finishes fastest gets all 3 rewards. If it's a tie, the guild mediates. Register now, pay the deposit, and you're welcome to the VIP lounge for food, wine, and company. There are beautiful young female geniuses in there. Swordmaster Noah might just get his wish. The instant she said that, the temperature around me dropped 10 degrees. 3 pairs of hands clamped onto me, 2 grabbing my arms, 1 walking ahead to register. They dragged me away from the VIP lounge entrance. 3 ice-cold statements stabbed through my beautiful dream. He doesn't need a 4th person. 3 is already too many. 1 more, and I might actually commit murder. Noah, you're allowed to fantasize, but don't actually want it. I'll arrange our beautiful life. Daling leaned in with the real prize, the reincarnation mirror. With that, we can simulate killing 1 million beastmen inside the mirror, fulfilling the curse oath without making Noah an enemy of the entire Beastman alliance in reality. And as for the divine artifact stealing sky, swapping sun, consider it already in my hands. Congratulations in advance, Kofuner. Kofuner didn't respond with words. She registered, paid the deposit, and was ready to teleport out without even resting. She named our adventurer team, Rebirth, Captain, Noah, Member, Linger, Member, Liai, Vice Captain, Near. She held the mission document, basic intel, progress tracker, locations. Each breach point was complete once church personnel arrived to seal it. While we waited for the teleportation array, a commotion erupted in the main hall. A crowd of gorgeous men and women appeared from different entrances, surrounded by admirers. Kofuner's pupils contracted. Rage surged through her, colder than any hell demon, darker than any abyss. Louis ASP, descendant of Saint Millennia, descendant of God Louis. Enjoy your remaining time. That was one of the bloodlines of the 5 mentors who'd cursed her. Their offspring was here, basking in glory built on Kofuner's stolen talent and 1,000,000 sacrificed souls. Can I at least collect some interest right now? I gripped Kofuner's hand, my other hand already moving toward Heaven's Cry. Not now, Noah. Absolutely not. Daling bear-hugged my waist. Alicia wrapped herself around my sword arm like a python. Words weren't going to stop me. They used their bodies. Meanwhile, this Louis SP sat down at a grand piano in the hall and started playing, making all the young ladies swoon with his talent stolen from Kofuner's bloodline, practicing techniques built on a foundation of murder and betrayal. Then inspiration struck. I couldn't kill him now, fine, but I could humiliate him. Right here. Public venue. Hundreds of witnesses. He'd have to swallow it because starting a fight at guild headquarters would be suicide for his reputation. And any retaliation afterward? Below level 10, I'm untouchable. Above level 10, I'll trade my life for theirs. And honestly, if a Holy Spirit realm being came after me personally, the survival pressure might push me to unlock Bankai. Then I'd just kill them outright. I ran through the plan once. No problems. Ran through it a second time. Already forgot what problems to look for. I signaled the girls, don't worry, I won't go crazy. They relaxed. Let go of me. In that exact instant, flash step. I was standing next to Louis ASP at the piano, slamming the lid shut. You play like dog crap. Move. Let me show you what real music sounds like. Noah. Crash. All 3 girls stumbled and nearly hit the floor when they realized what I was doing. What? Piano. You? They stared at me like I'd grown a second head. I just turned and smiled, letting my teeth sparkle with confidence. I walked up to the piano, ignoring every sneering, mocking face in the room. Louis ASP looked at me with a gentle, patronizing smile, then glanced at my 3 companions. His expression screamed, "What are those creatures?" He was thinking even his servants were 100 times prettier. He figured I was just some jealous nobody. Are you here to provoke me? Out of jealousy? I get people like you from time to time. You're no good, I said, one word at a time. The room erupted. What kind of commoner dares cause trouble here? How laughable. saying Lord ASP is no good. This person is clearly an idiot, some golden-haired beauty named Sophie. Apparently the guild leader's daughter and a high society music connoisseur, was shaking with rage. Someone who can produce such beautiful music, and you say he's bad? What are you? You're not worth his pinky finger. Louis ASP stayed elegant and calm. Miss Sophie, as a lady of your distinguished status, there's no need to argue with someone who's probably never even touched a piano. Kofuner, Daling, and Alicia all scanned Sophie, someone they'd apparently met and spoken with in their previous lives. Their shared internal verdict: trash. I raised my right pinky finger. Just the pinky. Watch carefully, everyone. I'll prove with one finger that his piano playing is garbage. That he's not even worth this much. Sophie was ready to incinerate me. Fire elements were literally swirling around her. You want to die? Easy. After you play, I'll slaughter you myself. A light bulb went off in my head. Money opportunity. How about this? If my one finger satisfies you and surpasses that noisemaker over there, I get a reward. You're the guild leader's daughter, right? Pull out 100 treasures from your guild vault. Can the great guild princess manage that? Sophie was about to explode. Fire everywhere. Fine. If you can actually do it. One finger, satisfy me, surpass ASP. I'll give you my personal greatest treasure, the fire dragon staff. But if you can't, enough. Deal. Louis ASP gracefully stood and yielded the bench. I positioned myself in front of the piano, turned to my three girls, and clicked my tongue with maximum smugness. Then I raised my right pinky and brought it down on the keys. Ding! Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata began, a piece that survived centuries of human civilization in my previous world. Timeless, immortal, played with one finger carrying the weight of an entire past life's worth of culture that this world had never heard. The whole story behind learning this piece was embarrassing, honestly. In my past life, I spent an entire year practicing piano to chase a college senior. Finally won her over. She dumped me the same day because she was slow to warm up and decided she'd warmed up too fast. 1 year of practice for a same-day breakup. But hey, the skill stuck. As the sonata progressed, the hall fell into deathly silence. Nobody, not a single sneering noble, not one mocking adventurer, had expected the mud-leg commoner to produce music that silenced an entire hall. Every man and woman stood frozen. This was, without question, the most beautiful sound any of them had ever heard in their lives. Louis Asp's elegant mask cracked. His expression twisted into disbelief. And suddenly, in everyone's memory, his performance from minutes ago, which had seemed pleasant enough at the time, now sounded like nails on a chalkboard by comparison. Then something extraordinary happened. Holographic projections materialized throughout the hall, ethereal figures dancing in perfect synchronization with the Moonlight Sonata. Everyone bowed their heads slightly. Lonnie, Louis ASP, Daling, Alicia, Kofuner, every person in the room. The dragon god, known as the most beautiful and art-loving among all deities, had turned their divine gaze upon this hall. When a living being achieves something that surpasses all predecessors, the gods notice. And sometimes they bless. Under divine authority, the piano music spread across the entire city of Thunderhammer. Every district, every street, even the blind could see the dancing projections. Even the deaf could hear the heavenly melody. The dragon god made sure of it. When the final note faded, the visions dissolved. I stood up, walked to my three girls, who were wearing apologetic, guilty expressions for doubting me, and raised the same pinky that had just made a god listen. I gently flicked each of their foreheads. 1, 2, 3. So who's the idiot? You three are. I'm actually angry now. You can't make it up to me. Their worried puppy faces instantly snapped back to normal mode. Daling blurted out first. Okay. From now on I'll always believe in you, and I'll grant you one request. Noah. The words left her mouth too fast to take back. She froze, trying to maintain composure under my suddenly burning gaze and two other sets of eyes that screamed, "You absolute moron." Kofuner pounced immediately. Noah, since Daling has agreed to grant you a request, I'll do my best to cooperate with her on that. Alicia. Same here. You two traitors. Daling bit her lip, glaring murder at their smirking faces. They just piggybacked on her slip-up to dodge all responsibility while still getting credit. I turned to the stunned crowd. specifically to a certain someone. A word of advice to all you distinguished ladies and gentlemen, especially a certain trash pianist. Please never play piano in my presence again. My ears might break. The spiritual pollution is unbearable. I made an exaggerated pinch my nose, wave away the stink gesture. More devastating than any insult I could have spoken, because what I'd just done wasn't provocation. It wasn't even a challenge. When a god stops to listen to your music, and the comparison makes your rival sound like a cat walking on keys, that's not rivalry. That's annihilation. Louis Ast's expression went rigid. Killing intent flickered through his eyes for 1 microsecond. Then he flung his hands, spun on his heel, and stormed out of the hall. Sophie swallowed hard. A god had witnessed the outcome. There was no excuse, no argument, no technicality she could hide behind. She exhaled slowly, pulled the fire dragon staff from her spatial necklace, walked up to me, turned her face away, and held it out. Did I feel bad taking a treasure from a pretty girl? Absolutely not. I am an equal opportunity person. Men, women, old, young, everyone gets treated the same. I took the staff without hesitation. If you want it back, it's not impossible. All you need to do is, triple killing intent slammed into my spine. Bring me curse-breaking materials. That's it. Just curse stuff. Nothing else. Purely professional transaction. The killing intent vanished. Warm, gentle energy wrapped around me instead. Deep in my heart, I felt beautiful girls of every type. Young maidens, mature women, cool beauties, beast girl cuties, all waving goodbye to me from a distant shore. I'd been marked by 3 monsters wearing human skin, and there was no escape. Noah, when I break this curse, I'm going to reward you so hard. Kofiener was clinging to my arm, happier than I'd seen her in ages, making Louis Asp eat humble pie in public, then trading the fire dragon staff at the guild for magic tools and curse purification items that actually worked for her. Best day of the trip. The items couldn't fully break her curse, but they sped up the timeline and eased her pain. She told me later that if she could have gotten her real body back today, she would have, legally processed, me on the spot. Processed me until the sun and moon switched places. Her words, not mine. I didn't ask for clarification. Alicia grabbed my other arm, voice soft as water. Me too when you stood up to that great noble for me. That made me so happy I could burst. Dayling's eyebrow twitched dark. Are you two rubbing it in? Noah, use your observation hockey and scan for any great nobles or demigod descendants nearby. I want my own hero saves the beauty moment. Punch some trash in the face for me. Kofiener and Alicia turned around in perfect sync, stuck their tongues out, and made faces at her. Flat chest girl, just be a good little concubine. Don't be mean to Linger. She may not have a chest. No, wait. It's not that she doesn't have one. You just can't tell she is one. But at least she has a pretty face and decent presence. Sorry, I like being direct. You don't mind, right? Dayling's real body back at the church had her hair standing straight up. She drove the borrowed body to chase the other two and start swinging. Their bickering voices echoed through the sunset, and honestly, it made me feel full, content, happy. These 3, I would protect them. Protect this warmth. No matter who the enemy was. We traveled from the guild to the edge of the first continent. The mission document marked suspected seal breach locations, but the intel was rough, approximate areas, not exact coordinates. If they'd known the precise spots, the church would have just sent people directly. The whole point of hiring adventurers was because finding these breaches required time, effort, and expendable bodies. That night, under moonlight, we started Alicia's serious observation hockey training. She lowered her defenses to mortal level, closed her eyes, plugged her ears. Kofiener and Dayling attacked her from all directions. Fireballs, water arrows, thrown rocks. For the first 30 minutes, she got hammered. Couldn't dodge anything. Then, half an hour in, she avoided a few attacks for the first time. Touched the threshold. Can't see. Can't hear. Can't smell. Can't rely on combat instinct. Have to sense purely with the heart. Something formless and shapeless. 1 hour later, she was dodging everything, but still missing that final click to truly awaken her own version of observation. I waved Kofiener and Dayling off. Drew my sword. Linger, be ready to heal. Liai, are you prepared to get hurt? She opened her eyes. Met mine with absolute resolve. No words needed. Purgatory, Demon slash. Boom. Killing intent blanketed the area. I drew Heaven's cry, the blade singing with joy. Kofuner and Daling tensed up. This was a real strike. If Alicia couldn't dodge, she'd be seriously wounded. Standing in the hurricane of my killing intent, grass ripping from the ground around her, goosebumps covering every inch of her skin, Alicia didn't waver, didn't flinch. Her heart stayed still as a lake. She knew this wasn't a joke. My blade would actually cut her. Cut. Flash step. I appeared behind her, horizontal slash aimed at her waist. Ding. Something shifted. Alicia entered a state beyond physical senses. Her soul seemed to step outside her body, observing from a third-person view. She could see me swinging, see herself standing still, see insects chirping, birds calling, wind shifting grass. For 100 miles in every direction, everything became visible and audible to her mind. In the real world, at the exact instant my blade would have reached her waist, she twisted her body at an impossible angle. Dodged the bisection. 10 razor-sharp, sword energy waves followed. She kept her eyes closed, simply shifting her feet, tilting her body, turning her head, dodging each one while walking toward me. Slap. We high-fived. Observation hockey. I've crossed the threshold. Now I just need to keep refining it. I believe it won't be long before I can see the future too. I believe in you. Now let's work on swordsmanship. I'll teach you hands-on. Let's teach each other. I have some insights on the sword too. Deal. Inside the tent, Kofuner was analyzing maps for potential breach locations. Daling had her eyes closed. Her consciousness was back in her real body at the church, which had also just awakened observation hockey at roughly the same time as Alicia. Two super geniuses hitting the same milestone simultaneously. Outside, Alicia and I each grabbed a wooden sword. We both suppressed our power to mortal level. Pure technique only. Genius. You learn my sword moves in one pass. All that's missing is sword intent, physical power, and energy. The more we traded blows, the more excited I got. You're the genius. Every strike has zero wasted motion. These basic fundamentals have been refined past instinct. Every swing exists solely to kill. Each move adapts to the opponent in real time. Fast against fast, still against slow, transform against strength. And you throw away all defense. Facing your sword, if your conviction wavers even slightly, your momentum drops by 30%. Alicia was smiling. A real, satisfied smile. She'd found something that filled the hollow inside her, and she needed it to stay. Forever. Boom. The air went still. I lowered my voice. 3,000 worlds. Feel this sword. Alicia's eyes blazed. I have one too. Passed down through my family. I'm from the kingdom of Zyro, a nation of sword fighters. My parents died on the battlefield testing their sword paths. The only thing they left me was this technique. The sword has no limit. The heart has no limit. This sword is called one sword. Infinite. We took our stances. Different forms. Different philosophies. My Ashura way, one sword supreme over heaven and earth. Her guardian way, one sword that births 10,000. Our eyes locked. We stepped forward simultaneously. Charged. Clang. Sword light exploded into 10,000 golden sparks. Wind howled. Then everything stopped. Wind. Movement. Us. We stood there grinning at each other like idiots. My wooden sword had turned to ASH, scattered on the ground. Hers was cut clean in half. Neither of us won. Neither of us lost. Boom. The tent behind us got blown away by the energy wave. Kofuner and Daling marched out with fists clenched and murder in their eyes. They walked up behind us, still laughing, still savoring the moment, and slammed their fists on top of our heads. Bonk bonk. Matching red lumps. Matching bowed heads. We're sorry. We were wrong. HMPH. Arms crossed. The two of them ordered us to rebuild the tent. While we worked, Alicia whispered to me, Noah, someday I want to have 2 children with you. They'll each learn our sword paths. They'll surpass us both. You'll give birth to nothing. Hurry up and light the fire. Then bring me my foot-washing water. Kofuner. The concubine wants to rise through motherhood? Then I'm having 4. Daling. I looked up at the stars. The bickering. The warmth. The promise of tomorrow. All of that works for me. But for now, let's rest. Tomorrow comes early. The future looks good. I'll protect you all with my life. Protect everything we're building together. Meanwhile, in a place I knew nothing about, the real enemy was making moves. Deep in the abyss, a realm with no sun, only a blood-red full moon, and a purple crescent moon hanging in eternal darkness. The Demon Emperor was waking up from a nap in a castle that made the Yellow Dragon Empire's palace look like a cardboard box. This Demon Emperor had blazing red hair, a flawless face, and was apparently so beautiful that gender didn't even apply. First words after waking up, "I'm hungry," and then, while getting dressed and having makeup done by 3 maids, this creature casually laid out a plan that was terrifyingly brilliant. See, everyone on our side thought the demons attacked Moonlight City's auction to steal the ancient demon king Rabiel's hand and resurrect him. Wrong. That was a distraction. The real play was the seals, the holy monuments, that the church uses to plug the dimensional breaches. The Demon Emperor planted them 800 years ago. They're not patches, they're keys. When all 108 breaches get sealed with these monuments, 2 things happen. First, the saint, who is apparently a vessel that can sacrifice herself to summon a god's true power into the mortal world, gets corrupted by demonic energy from the monuments. The gods won't tolerate their chosen vessel being tainted by abyss energy, so they'll execute the saint themselves. That eliminates the god's real trump card. Past demon kings were idiots. 5 of them beat the hero only to get obliterated when the saint sacrificed herself and literally summoned a god to nuke them into non-existence. Second, once all 108 keys are in place, the Demon Emperor controls them. The sealed breaches become doorways. An army of 100,000 level 10 elite demons and billions of soldiers pours through simultaneously, tearing the world barrier apart from the inside. No more hero versus demon king, children's story. Total, absolute annihilation. And the punchline? We were the ones installing the keys. Every adventurer sealing those breaches, including MY Team, was doing exactly what the Demon Emperor wanted. The game begins now, the Emperor laughed, and every demon in the abyss knelt to listen. Of course, I knew none of this. We'd arrived at some small town after trekking across the first continent. For locations checked so far, 0 correct breach sites. Finding these things required environmental clues, corrupted plants, aggressive animals, warped space, within a 100-mile radius. Not impossible, just tedious. The whole town was acting weird, though. Everyone was filing into a church for some unknown reason. We asked, nobody would explain. Kofuner wanted to leave, but I'd already followed the crowd inside like a curious puppy. It's over. All 3 girls face-bombed simultaneously. They split up. Kofuner went to find a hotel. Daling headed to the church to gather intel. Alicia went off to train alone. She'd committed to rebuilding her sword intent from scratch, aiming to surpass her 14-year-old self before she could truly walk beside me. She could feel my sword intent growing stronger every single day. Nobody bothered looking for me. In a town of only a few thousand people, even I couldn't cause that much trouble. Naturally, I got lost. The person who found me was a girl sitting outside her house, crying. Her name was Sarah. She'd been upset about something. Her sister had gone missing. But her grief kept getting interrupted because every time she looked up, this same guy kept walking past her door. She counted 20 times. At first she thought I was with the people who'd made her sister disappear, casing the house. Then she pointed me in a direction, and I walked away. 5 minutes later, I walked past again. That's when she figured out I was just a hopelessly lost idiot. Noah, you and your companions are here for that thing too, right? Sarah had invited me in to eat. Apparently she'd promised food to lure me off the street, but she was holding a kitchen knife behind her back, eyeing me suspiciously. What thing? I'm here investigating spatial rifts and sealing abyss breaches. Hey, do you have any intel? Anything unusual around town? Weird plants, animals acting strange. Is there a reward? Fair question. Then she circled me, studying me like evidence. Can I touch your chest? You're probably telling the truth, but I want to check if your heartbeat speeds up. I jumped back in shock. I do not date children. If you want to pursue me romantically, come back at 18. I'll write you a number ticket right now. When your number gets called, you can have your shot. Sarah's face contorted like she'd swallowed something horrible. She backed away fast. Pervert. Who would like you? My sister and I admire hero Alicia. We're going to be strong like her. She calmed down, sighed, and decided I was genuinely unrelated to whatever was threatening the town. Just eat. take your friends, and leave. Things haven't been safe around here lately. She put the knife down and started actually cooking. How long until your companions come for dinner? Will they get lost too? Four people, 10 copper coins covers it. I tapped the little magic stone on my earlobe, Kofuner's communication device, and connected all three. Come eat at my location. Then I turned to Sarah. Got a spare room? 1 gold coin per day, meals included. Daily payment. Deal? She almost refused, but 1 gold coin was a lot of money. Whether her missing sister was alive or dead, survival came first. Revenge required being alive to execute it. Her face instantly transformed from suspicious orphan to professional innkeeper. Yes, honored adventurer. Compared to the town inn, my home has superior hygiene, and my cooking is the best. Even my sister couldn't stop praising it. The mood switch gave me whiplash. Sarah's eyes were the size of dinner plates watching me eat. Do you have beastman blood? How can you eat this much? Kofuner answered for me since my mouth was full. Pure human. Eating is just how he trains. Daling set down her chopsticks elegantly. Delicious cooking, though. Worth every copper of that gold coin. Alicia gave a thumbs up. Kid could cook. That night, all 4 of us lay on one bed, sharing intel from the day's scouting. Alicia reported first. The bandits around here got absorbed by the local lord. Seems like they're guarding some kind of mine for him. Then she closed her eyes and entered meditation. Inside her mind, she was sparring against her old 14-year-old self, the version that conquered the world, trying to surpass who she used to be. Daling shared what she'd learned at the church. The town gathering is just a local tradition. Years ago, this place was about to be destroyed by a massive landslide. Mountains collapsing all around, everyone waiting to die. Then a beam of light came from the distance. After the light passed, the disaster was gone. The church later told the townspeople the truth. Hero Alicia had been passing by at 10,000 meters altitude and casually saved them. Alicia was deep in meditation. Didn't hear any of it. Kofuner scoffed. Back in MY day, I could have done the same thing. Nothing special. I shot out of bed. That's the world's greatest swordsman for you. Sword energy from 10,000 meters up, precisely destroying every falling boulder without harming a single person or building. I can't wait to meet her. I was so fired up I threw on my jacket and headed out. More eating, more body strengthening, more spiritual energy growth. My path was simple. Eat, absorb nutrients, let life return, convert everything into denser spiritual power. Straight shot to level 10 with 0 bottlenecks. But hearing that story lit a fire under me. What if demons break out of the abyss early? What if Alicia gets killed before I can challenge her? Even if I avenged her and claimed the title, being called world's greatest swordsman without earning it through combat would haunt me forever. Kofuner called after me. If you get lost, use the communicator. I did not find a late-night snack stand. I did get lost, wander out of town entirely, and end up at a river. On the bank, Sarah, who should have been sleeping, was drenched in sweat, swinging a wooden sword at a practice target nailed to a tree. I caught fish from the riverbed while she kept swinging. When I had enough, I made an offer. Trade. I teach you swordsmanship. You grill these fish for me. She wiped her forehead and squinted at me suspiciously. You know swords? Aren't swordsmen supposed to have sharp instincts? A swordsman who gets lost. I laughed, drew Heaven's cry, clang, and split the entire river in 2. Sarah swallowed hard, then jumped with excitement. So cool. I want to learn. If I get strong, I can find the people who took my sister and get closer to Hero Alicia. Crackling fire. Me inhaling fish whole, bones and all. Sarah grilling as fast as her little hands could work. We're starting tomorrow morning? Are you scamming me? Shouldn't we start tonight? First, eat your fish. Then take me home because I'm lost. Then sleep 8 hours. That's the foundation. Your body has 0 energy reserves. Staying up all night swinging a sword just burns stamina. It won't make your blade or your body any stronger. She fired back immediately. The kids at school, my sister, their teachers tell them to work hard and never stop. I didn't get accepted into school, so if I don't try harder, what am I supposed to do? Schools charge tuition that includes recovery supplements and healing medicine. Does your family have those? If yes, train all night. If no, follow my method. I'm not forcing you. If you don't want my way tomorrow, I'll pay in gold coins instead. This was an exchange, not a master-student thing. I made that very clear. She went quiet. We walked home in silence. Next morning, Sarah was vibrating with excitement, waiting for my guidance. Alicia was nearby. Daling had already filled her in on the town's history with the hero. When Alicia looked at Sarah and her little wooden sword and her shrine to Hero Alicia, something cracked inside her. What? Your training is telling me to eat properly, study hard, and sleep, and then squats? Jogging. This is your expert instruction? Sarah's eyes went red with rage. She thought I tricked her. She ran out crying. Alicia, Kofuner, and Daling didn't go after her. All three understood. My method was right. Sarah's family was below average, even for commoners. No talent worth a scholarship. Forcing herself through sword training without building a physical foundation first would only destroy her body during its growth phase. Eat well, sleep well, study to sharpen her mind, do basic fitness to build a base, then pick up a sword. That's the correct order. I'll go check on her, Alicia said quietly, taking my hand so I wouldn't get lost. We found Sarah in the church, crying at the foot of a statue, a magnificent armored woman with a sword pointed at the sky. The plaque read, Hero Alicia. The school rejected me, and now I met a scammer. I've been trying so hard, Lady Alicia. We sat down on either side of her. I spoke first, blunt as always. Does crying at a statue solve anything? You say you admire her, but tears won't make you strong. She turned away from me, red-eyed. Beside me, Alicia was falling apart internally. She'd never imagined that a casual, thoughtless act from years ago, swinging her sword from 10,000 meters because some rocks were falling on some town she'd never remember, would create this. A statue, a tradition, a little girl who worshipped her. The title, Fated Hero, the puppet role she'd been running from, suddenly weighed heavier than ever. Noah, she said, voice cracking. Can we stay here a while? I need to process something before I can move forward. My heart is breaking. I looked at her, saw the cracks, the wet eyes she was trying to hide. I stood up, pulled her into my arms, and held her tight. Okay, I don't know what's going through your head, but I believe you'll find your way through it. When you need me, don't be tough about it. I'll always be your support. If the sky falls, I'll hold it up. Alicia burst into tears, nodded hard against my chest, and then, just like that, collapsed into a deep, unconscious state. Her mind had broken under the weight and shut down to rebuild itself. Sarah didn't understand what was happening. What did you do to her? You are a perverted scumbag. Black lines all over my face. I can't explain it to you. I'll say this once. Listen or don't. Your family is poor. You have no talent. If a school would take you, they'd have offered a reduced fee by now. Forcing yourself through sword training when your body can't handle it is self-destruction. You're still growing. Eat well to fuel that growth. Sleep well to let your body absorb nutrients. Study to sharpen your thinking. Do basic fitness to build your foundation. After that base is solid, then the sword will actually work. I carried Alicia home. Sarah stayed alone in the church until noon, when she came back to cook lunch. Daling shook her head at Alicia's unconscious form. Heart sickness. She has to walk out of it herself. Nobody can do it for her. Kofuner sighed. What kind of concubine makes her master worry this much? Completely unqualified. We'll wait until she recovers before moving on. Noah can teach the girl in the meantime. I walked outside in silence, mind heavy. Please teach me. I'll study seriously. Sarah was standing right there, shouting at the top of her lungs. I still read, but determined. 2 weeks passed in that little town. Sarah followed my training regimen. Eat well, sleep well, study, basic fitness. She hadn't noticed any physical improvement yet, but mentally, night and day, the dark cloud over her had lightened. She was actually greeting townspeople again instead of staring at the ground. Then some kids ruined her day. Your sister's dead, right? She's been missing for 2 months, Sarah snapped. Punched one of them before they saw it coming. Bad move. 5 more jumped her. Fists and kicks raining down while they tore her apart with words. Turns out her sister had been passing through a place called Alma Mine, saw workers being abused by the local lord's men, and confronted the guards. Classic hero move. She disappeared after that, probably dead. And the miners she'd protected? Not a single one came to check on her family afterward. The town mayor asked around for her sister, and those same miners called her sister a fool who played hero for no reason. Your sister is a joke. And so are you. Sarah curled up, hands over her head, taking hits. The physical pain was nothing compared to learning the truth. My sister was trying to be like Hero Alicia. She was protecting people. She's not a joke. You are. More punches for that. She came home at lunch with a swollen face and refused Daling's healing. Went straight to the kitchen, crying while she cooked. I looked at the others. Are we basically child abusers at this point? Kofuner. She can ask for help anytime. She's choosing not to. That's pride and backbone. This kid has a future. Daling. At least she's tougher mentally than someone who wakes up, drags herself to the church, comes back, and immediately gets another fever. She glanced at Alicia's room. Yeah, Alicia was not doing well. Learning that this town worshipped her, that a little girl's sister died trying to imitate her, had shattered something fundamental inside her. Every time she woke up, she'd stumble to the church, see her own statue, come home, and collapse with a worse fever. Her inner demon was eating her alive. After lunch, Sarah tried to study through her tears. But those kids' words kept echoing, mocking her sister, mocking their shared dream of becoming like Alicia. If you can't focus on books, grab the wooden sword. Pretend the trees and grass are the people who hurt you. Let it out. Go back to studying when you're ready. She wiped her tears, closed the book, picked up the sword, and walked outside. She swung until the wooden sword snapped. Then she broke down sobbing. Sister, why did this happen to you? Lady Alicia. My sister wasn't wrong, was she? Why did she get punished for doing the right thing? Inside the room, Alicia heard every word, every sob, every desperate question directed at the hero who was lying 10 feet away pretending to be a beggar. Her inner demon surged. The fever spiked higher. I couldn't take the crying anymore. I grabbed Kofuner and went for a walk, leaving Daling to watch over Alicia. We came back at dusk. One still delirious with fever. One still crying. Kofuner sighed and went to cook. I had no more cards to play except amateur psychology. Sarah-chan, she shuddered mid-sob. My deliberately creepy voice snapped her back to reality. What do you want? You can tell me what's bothering you. The constant crying is making me think I'm at a funeral. I sat on the ground, fiddling with the broken wooden sword halves. If I tell you, will you help me? A spark of hope in her eyes. I didn't say yes. Didn't say no. I asked her instead, are you going to spend your whole life waiting for someone to come fix your problems? If nobody steps up, is this just it? Forever? If that's who you are, I suggest becoming a God servant. Pray to the gods. If that's not who you are, then learn this. A person who waits to be saved has no right to be saved. Sarah exploded. That's twisted logic. Lady Alicia herself said her path is protecting all living beings. I smiled and patted her head. She couldn't escape my hand. Then let me ask you, in your heart, what is a hero? She squirmed under my head patting, but answered fiercely. A hero is someone who protects everyone. Every time, it's the hero who leads people out of despair. But in my heart, Lady Alicia is the strongest and most beautiful hero in all of history. I let go and shared a different view. In my opinion, anyone can be a hero. Man, woman, old, young, human, beast man, sea dweller. Anyone. Bullcrap. Sarah was shaking with anger. Behind me, Alicia had just woken up. Daling and Kofuner were supporting her shoulders as she stepped out of the room. She heard my words and started trembling too. Noah, heroes are people blessed by the gods. Without divine blessing, you can't be a hero. You're completely wrong this time. Alicia's voice was weak but firm. Sarah nodded in agreement. Daling and Kofuner stayed silent. Couldn't touch this topic. I got serious. Really serious. A person who musters courage to fight injustice for their family, loved ones, or friends. That's a brave person. But that's not a hero. However, when someone musters courage to stand up for strangers with zero connection to them, expecting nothing in return, fighting injustice and evil purely because it's right, even if that person is the lowest in status, even if no God ever blessed them, even if they're ugly, broken, or weak, in my eyes, that person is an absolute hero. Only the God-blessed can be heroes. Don't make me laugh. Heroes don't need any God's approval. The moment someone stands up for justice, that person is the strongest being in the world. The ones who pushed civilization forward were never the God-appointed heroes. It was the countless unnamed heroes who stood up when nobody asked them to. Everyone was frozen. I had evidence too, not fantasy, but history from the books this world tried to burn. Divine calendar year 7950. the Kingdom of Coral suddenly abolished its inhumane policies. Year 8755, the Church stopped live human sacrifices to the gods. Year 6504, Beastmen and humans jointly declared that mixed-race orphans would no longer be classified as livestock or slaves. Year 7999, Sea Domain Races. Year 3555, the path to becoming extraordinary was opened to commoners, ending the monopoly. Year 2557, knights, mages, and godservants were forbidden from excessive slaughter of civilians. Every single one of these moments shares something in common. The ruling powers at the time burned certain books. You all know what royalty, great nobles, and small kings are really like. How they treat commoners. Do you honestly believe these people voluntarily gave up power and privilege for the little people? The ones who forced them to retreat were the unnamed. Heroes that those same rulers erased from history. Don't believe me? Go check the records. Every time a policy for justice appeared, there's a corresponding record of books being destroyed. Every single time. Alicia collapsed completely to the ground. Kofuner and Daling were sweating. Sarah stood shell-shocked for a long moment, then sprinted to find books, determined to prove me wrong. Boom! Thunder cracked across the sky the moment I finished talking. Lightning gathered directly above my head, swirling into a massive storm cloud. Divine punishment. The gods were angry. How dare a mere human suggest that anyone besides their chosen blessed ones could be called a hero? I pointed straight up at the gathering storm and grinned at everyone. The terrified Sarah, the shaken trio, all of them. This is the best proof I could ask for. If I was wrong, why would the gods bother getting mad? People who curse the gods, people who write fanfiction about the gods, none of them ever get this treatment. But I say anyone can be a hero. And suddenly it's lightning time? Think about why that makes them angry. Sarah was trembling. We're doomed. Flash step. I launched into the sky, drew heaven's cry, and swung upward. 3,000 worlds. A massive gold-black arc of sword energy screamed toward the heavens. It slammed into the thunderclouds and blew them apart like glass. The sky itself split open, a crack stretching thousands of miles, edges unable to close, starlight pouring through the gap like a waterfall of diamonds. I cut the sky in half. To make a point, landing beside the awestruck Sarah, I patted her head. See that, little Sarah? Those unnamed heroes are like the stars up there. Sure, they can't match the fated heroes in raw power or demon-slaying ability, but they shine in their own way, lighting up the world with whatever they've got. Someone out there admires and respects them. At least I do. The Alicia you worship and the heroes I'm talking about aren't enemies. They just protect different things. Fated heroes fight the Demon King to guard people's lives. Unnamed heroes fight injustice to guard people's futures. Both are needed. Both make the world better. Both reduce the number of bad people and make life easier for the good ones. Psychology lesson over for today. Go make dinner. Oh, and about your sister. I looked into it. I recognize her. She's a hero too. Same as Alicia. A ton of gold and an ounce of gold are both valuable. Daling and Kofuner each grabbed one of my arms and started clinging, being sweet. Behind us, Alicia's eyes were clearing, the fog and fear draining away. She had one question left. Once answered, she'd truly break through and rebuild. You too, sleep outside tonight. I need to discuss heroism and sword philosophy with Noah. All night, Alicia tried to claim the bed. You ungrateful pig. Your fever just broke and you're already this arrogant? Bring me my foot-washing water now. Concubine wants to die? I'll end you right here. The three of them erupted into their usual brawl. I waited patiently for food. At dinner, Sarah's eyes were full of worship stars. She'd laid out every dish she knew how to make. Can you teach me that move? The one that cut the sky in half. Please, please, please. That's not the problem. The problem is, I'm going to find Alicia and beat her. She's the person you worship most. After I defeat her, you'll be using MY techniques. Are you okay with that, emotionally? What? Sarah stumbled back 2 steps. Are you a traitor? Have you joined the Abyss? You're the idiot. Alicia is a swordsman. I'm a swordsman. Of course I'm challenging her. And if she turns out to be a beautiful girl who wants to date me, well, I wouldn't say no. Fire ignited in Sarah's eyes. You could never beat Lady Alicia. She's the world's greatest swordsman. If you insult her again, I'll put laxatives in your food. How do you know she wouldn't date me? You're not her. Admiration is the emotion furthest from understanding. I, HMPH. I'm making your dinner extra spicy. Burning hot. Perfect. I love spicy. Make it spicier. You pervert scumbag. After our loud lunch, I went for a walk. Sarah chased after me, she decided. Despite everything, she wanted to learn that sky-splitting move. Her plan was set. Get strong, find her sister, and if her sister was truly dead, devote her life to becoming Alicia's right hand. Fight demons. Honor her sister's dream. Noah, wait for me. She followed me, panting, as I walked. By the time she'd memorized the basic form of 3,000 worlds, she was about to pass out. Without realizing it, she'd been unconsciously mimicking my breathing rhythm and walking pace, which was the only reason she'd lasted this long. Her body finally gave out, and she toppled backward. I caught her, put her on my back, and kept walking. Without my guide, I wandered further and further from town. 100 kilometers out, I spotted a cave entrance. Naturally, I walked right in. Noah, you're telling me you saw a pitch-black hole and just walked into it? Sarah had woken up. We were surrounded by thick rock walls. No exit visible. I thought it was the way back to town. There's wind. Follow the wind to find the exit. I charged ahead. Sarah scrambled to keep up. Noah, there are 3 tunnels ahead. Which one? She was clinging to my arm, staring at 3 dark openings, terrified. Any of them work. Worst case, I cut this entire mountain in half and we walk out. I already sent our position to near. The others are on their way. Let's go left. We stepped into the left tunnel. The ground vanished. We plummeted into darkness. Help, relax. Think of it as a theme park drop ride. What if there's rocks at the bottom? Or monsters? We're dead. Splash. Perfect dive. 0 splash. Both of us sinking to the bottom of an underground river. Meanwhile, Kofuner, Daling, and Alicia had tracked my position to the outer perimeter of Alma Mine, 100 kilometers from town. The breach is inside the mine. The abyss corruption has contaminated the entire mountain. That lord must have known and covered it up. This world needs a cleaning. I'll handle it. The fated hero should be clearing out trash before the war starts. Make things better for good people. Make bad people fewer. Kofuner and Daling studied Alicia carefully. Her eyes, those confident, luminous eyes that had once belonged to the world's greatest swordsman at 14, were shining again. Even brighter than before. Have you broken through and rebuilt? Has the Alicia that Noah's been waiting for returned? Almost. One last step. If I can't cross it, I might die. If that happens, take care of Noah. Tell him I'm sorry. Tell him Alicia wasn't worthy of being his opponent. Leave the Demon King and the Abyss to you. Daling and Kofuner noticed it then. Alicia's aura was wrapped in the heavy scent of death. This breakthrough was life or death. Literally. Guards at the mine tried to stop them. This belongs to Lord Eros, Clang. Sword energy from all directions pinned every miner, guard, and patrol to the spot, frozen in terror. Daling, find the criminals among them. My observation can predict the future and sense life energy, but I can't read hearts or emotions. Daling huffed. Don't order me. I'm helping because I pity you. She chanted a prayer, deployed a divine array across the mine, and every person guilty of crimes was tagged with a glowing marker at their feet. Locked in place. Alicia didn't hesitate. Sword energy pierced every marked skull. Then she turned her blood-red gaze on the remaining miners. Answer me. The girl named Mela who stood up for you. Was she killed by that trash lord? Did you just watch her die and do nothing? And then laugh about her afterward. The miners collapsed to their knees, shaking. She was stabbed once and thrown into the deep mine shaft. We don't know if she's alive or dead. We're sorry. We deserve to die. We stood by and watched. Please forgive us. Alicia pulled back her killing intent. She had to hold the line. If she slaughtered people just for being cowards and ungrateful, she'd be no different from the monsters she was fighting against. You don't deserve salvation. You don't even deserve my blade. Live your cowardly, powerless lives. Even a hero can't move people like you. Deep in the mine, besides Noah and Sarah, I can sense a faint life energy. It might be Mela. As long as there's no corpse, there's hope. Alicia led the way into the mine. Kofuner and Daling flanked her. Kofuner chuckled. Noah was planning to handle this for Sarah after you recovered. Instead, he got lost and stumbled right into the mine. My Noah really is the hero. Haha. Deep in the underground river, as the current tossed us around, a hand reached out from the riverbank. Someone was trying to pull us to safety. I smiled at the girl, grabbed Sarah, and leaped out of the water onto dry ground. Sarah, the girl on the bank screamed. I blinked. So you're Sarah's sister. Mela, still alive. That's good news. I set Sarah down by the fire on dry stone. Her sister Mela, alive, thin, but alive, gave me a formal knight's bow. Thank you for not giving up on my idiot sister, Sir Noah. Teaching her your advanced sword techniques is truly her honor. I was staring at the weird mutant fish she had hanging on the walls. Immediately understood why she hadn't left this underground cave. You're documenting the abyss corruption's effects, right? If you'd escaped and told people the mine was contaminated, the Lord would have killed you and Sarah. You need ironclad proof before the church or the kingdom would intervene. Mela's face twisted with fury at the mention of that Lord. Exactly. I went to reason with him. Just asked him to treat his miners humanely. That pig stabbed me and threw me into the river. When I woke up and recovered, I was going to escape, but then I caught fish that looked like this. She threw one at my feet. The thing was covered in fangs and extra eyeballs from abyss corruption. Days out of water, and it was still flopping around, trying to bite me. I bit it first. Tore half its body off. The remaining half kept wriggling and started regenerating. Tastes decent actually. Poison? Not worried. Linger was somewhere in the mine. Mela stared, then slapped her own cheeks to reset. Truly worthy of a swordsman who challenges Lady Alicia. Remarkable courage. Then she looked at sleeping Sarah, fidgeted nervously, and whispered, Sir Noah, can we go deal with the breach now? I'm worried that Pig Lord will interfere when you try to seal it. I waved her off. My 3 partners are already inside the mine. They'll handle the breach. Forget the world for a minute. Your little sister has been crying herself to sleep every night worrying about you. When she wakes up, give her a hug. The sky won't fall. Tall people will hold it up. Mela froze. She'd been so focused on duty and the bigger picture that she'd forgotten the person who cared about her most. Thank you. I was rushing too much. She sat beside Sarah, tears falling. I'm sorry. I almost left you all alone. Meanwhile, up in the mine, my 3 girls encountered the fat lord hiding behind his guards. You 3 ugly creatures. I'm a noble of the Oikit kingdom. This is my territory. If you cause trouble, the king will send armies. The Yellow Dragon Empire won't stand for it. Maybe even hero Alicia herself will. Kofuner, Daling, and Alicia all made the exact same. Are you serious right now, face? Who is the genius that came up with nobility is untouchable? Violators get executed? Kofuner. Don't know, don't care. Demigods who block my path die too. Royalty? Nobles? Garbage. Daling. I really want to go back in time and kill my past self for accepting tribute from animals like this. Thank God I escaped at 14, or my brain would have been twisted beyond repair. Alicia. Clang. Sword energy materialized from thin air, pierced through every guard and the lord simultaneously, reducing them to meat paste. Fwoosh. Kofuner's magic stone flared, and a fireball incinerated the remains. At the deepest point of the mine, they found the breach, warped, twisted walls with faint roaring from the other side, and scattered across the floor. Hundreds of human skeletons. Men, women, elderly, children, all killed by that pig lord or his men. Alicia breathed deep, eyes frozen with cold fury. They died too easily. He got off too light. Daling prayed, her holy light purifying the lingering spirits, helping the dead move on to reincarnation. We avenged them, Alicia. Stay strong. Kofuner filled out the mission report with coordinates. The guild responded instantly. Church personnel were en route to seal the breach. I'll go get Noah, Kofuner said. Then she paused. Alicia, this isn't your fault. Even back then, the 14-year-old you was nothing like those nobles and royals. Those words hit Alicia like a warm spring breeze cutting through a blizzard. The knot in her chest loosened, just a little. Kofu, Daling cut in. If you're worried about her, just say so. Stop pretending, you stupid cow, Daling. Thank you too. You also told me to let go. Don't be disgusting. I just didn't want my toy breaking before I was done playing. I couldn't care less about you. Daling turned her face away. Alicia smiled softly. Being cared about by real friends. That felt nice. Kofuner found me watching the 2 sisters hugging and crying together. We both broke into matching, proud Annie, smiles. When all 6 of us emerged from the mine entrance, the Lord's private army, over 1,000 soldiers, was waiting outside. Mela stepped forward despite her fear. Sarah stepped up beside her without hesitation. 2 sisters, shoulder to shoulder, facing an army. Don't worry, Daling told them. We don't even need to fight. The church will send a message to this kingdom. Concealing abyss contamination for personal profit? Blocking adventurers from sealing a breach? That pig's entire family is finished. You 2 won't face any consequences. In fact, the church will commend you. Sarah, you'll get into school. Tuition waived for years. Sure enough, 5 church envoys in white robes arrived within the hour, accompanied by the kingdom's own king. 1 jade-sized holy monument placed into the warped wall. The roaring from the other side went silent. Space normalized. The corrupted environment purified instantly. The mine was permanently sealed and absorbed into church jurisdiction. Far away at the church, Daling's real body had a tiny demonic pattern flicker across her smooth skin for a split second, then vanish. Neither she nor any god noticed. We said goodbye to the sisters and set off again. But halfway down the road, footsteps behind us. Running. Noah. Sarah's voice rang across the open field. I'll study hard, eat right, sleep well, train properly, and I will master your sword technique. Thank you for everything. I'm going to march toward being a hero. Not just toward Lady Alicia, toward all those unnamed heroes too. And when I turn 18, I'm coming to find you. With my number ticket. I didn't turn around. Just raised my arm and gave her a thumbs up. Kofuner, Daling, and Alicia all detected a problem simultaneously. That last sentence. It was dripping with young maiden's heart awakening energy. What number ticket? I explained the joke I'd made when she first offered to touch my chest, that if she wanted to date me, she'd need to come back at 18 with a Q number. 3 killing intents slammed into me like freight trains. The 3 of them surrounded me, smiling sweetly, faces angelic, eyes promising death. My Noah even seduces children. What a wonderful scumbag. I love you more every day. Kofuner. So Lolas are your thing after all. My Noah is so cute. Daling. My Noah truly loves all people equally. No wonder I fell for you. Alicia. Can we talk about this? Boom. Our team, Rebirth, was making waves. 2 seal breaches found and locked down. The adventurer community was buzzing about us, and about our main competition, a team called Celestial, that was 3 days ahead with their own 2 seals. But comparing us to Celestial was a joke according to everyone else. Their roster read like a fantasy all-star lineup. Lewis ASP, the piano guy I humiliated, A. Demigod's descendant. Sophie, the guild leader's daughter whose fire dragon staff I took. Maury and Veronica, Yellow Dragon Empire royalty. Prince Edward, Beastman Alliance. And Galen, Sea Domain Holy Tribe. Basically the young generation's dream team, minus the hero and saint. They were the most prestigious group possible. Meanwhile, Team Rebirth was a direction-blind swordsman, a cursed mage who looked like a horror movie, a fake beggar, and a borrowed body controlled remotely by a church leader. We were the underdog story nobody believed in. Gambling was everywhere. Taverns, guild branches, street corners, everyone placing bets. 10,000 gold on Celestial. I took out a loan and went all in on Celestial. How could they lose? Hedge your bets. 10 copper on Rebirth, 100,000 gold on Celestial. Our odds. 1 to 50. The moment I saw that on the big screen, my eyes turned demon red. My past life's World Cup gambling instinct screamed at me to dump everything on ourselves. That beautiful, beautiful underdog payout. Kofuner's fist connected with my skull before I could reach my wallet. Lights out. Peaceful sleep. While I napped, Alicia drank at the bar. Daling sipped milk beside her, and Kofuner handled mission updates and intel at the counter. Standard division of labor. What none of us noticed was a girl named Lillian, a sickly, pale beauty from the Vis family, one of the Yellow Dragon Empire's 4 great noble houses. She was arm in arm with her boyfriend Kellen, a commoner genius who'd reached level 8 knight at just 20 years old and had agreed to marry into the Vis family for Lillian's sake. Cute couple. Except Lillian wasn't human. She was a demon, specifically, a soul fragment, construct planted in the mortal world by the Demon Emperor. The real Demon Emperor, Erebos, who'd ruled the Abyss for 1,200 years. The one whose 800-year plan we were unknowingly executing by sealing those breaches. When our group passed Lillian at the guild entrance, she and Alicia's eyes met for a fraction of a second. Both paused, then moved on. Lillian had briefly cross-referenced our faces against intelligence files in her brain and identified us as Team Rebirth. She calculated it took 0.05 seconds, which she attributed to the limitations of her human vessel's processing power. Kellen looked back at me with excited eyes. That sword Master Noah? His energy reads level 6, but the sword path doesn't follow energy rankings. I didn't notice. I was hypnotized by the gambling odds on the big screen, mourning my inability to bet. Later, Lillian approached Kofuner at the counter, introducing herself as a sickly noble girl who was just excited to meet the team rivaling Celestial. Coughing, fragile, polite. Kofuner gave a flat response and dismissed her. Behind that sweet, coughing exterior, Lillian was already scheming. Her plan: pit Rebirth against Celestial in a real conflict. Whichever side won, the other was eliminated. Either way, the mortal world loses promising fighters. Demons win by subtraction. Within days, rumors exploded across every guild branch and tavern, hyping up Rebirth, trashing Celestial, spreading the piano humiliation story far and wide. Someone was deliberately stoking a rivalry. And then the assassins came. Hello there, assassin lady. Were you waiting for me? I appeared behind a level 5 mage assassin hiding 10 kilometers away, patting her shoulder cheerfully. She nearly jumped out of her skin. No killing intent leaked. No intelligence compromised. How did he find me? She'd never know about observation hockey. At level 6, my sensing range now covered 100 miles. Every hostile intention, every trace of killing intent within that sphere was like a blinking red dot on my mental radar. I ran observation as standard practice whenever we traveled through open terrain. The assassin pulled off her mask, revealing a cute beastman girl with fluffy, twitching ears. Swordmaster Noah, perhaps there's been a misunderstanding? If you're willing to hear me out, I could accompany you in whatever you'd like to do. Clang. I bisected her before she could even start unbuttoning. I'm not some brain-dead protagonist who spares women trying to kill him. And I have zero interest in the reform the assassin through love plotline. The time spent reforming one killer could be donated to feeding orphans instead. Kofuner bonked my head. Interrogate first, then kill. This is the 5th one you've cut down without asking a single question. Alicia bit her fingernail. It's probably those guys. The Celestial team. Daling smirked. Imagine, those people are supposed to accompany the hero against the Demon King Teske. Alicia went scarlet. Not from embarrassment, but from rage at her past self for ever accepting such people as companions. I shook my head. I'm not defending Celestial, but our hype has been artificially inflated. That's not normal. Someone wants us fighting each other. The assassins showing up right when our popularity peaks? Everyone's first thought is, it must be the competition. That's too convenient. Doesn't matter WHO's behind it. They'll keep sending people. I'll keep killing until nobody dares come. Eventually, the puppet master either shows their face or crawls back into their hole. Schemes don't survive against someone who keeps getting stronger. The girls thought it over. Made sense. Then, thump. My heart rate spiked. Kofuner broke into a sweat. Alicia's hand moved toward unsealing her power. Daling's borrowed body started cramping. A real threat. Not an assassin. Not a hired gun. A genuine powerhouse. Level 8. The real deal. You 3, stay here. 5 minutes. That's all I need. I turned and walked toward the source of that crushing pressure. Alicia, be ready to rescue him. That's what Daling and Kofuner told her before I walked toward the level 8 assassin. The two of them couldn't help directly. One cursed, one in a borrowed body. Charging onto a battlefield with an enemy this strong would only distract me. They weren't going to gamble my life on some. Scream my name and I power up. Cliché. Alicia? She was on the ground, punching the dirt, crying. I can't break the seal. The moment I tried to unseal my power, my inner demon appeared right in front of me. She's standing between you two right now, laughing at me. Get out. Let me unseal even if it kills me afterward. Daling's eyes went cold. She kicked Alicia across the ground. You're useless. Can't you see we have guests? Boom. A fist-sized crater appeared exactly where Alicia had been crouching. Over a dozen masked level 5 assassins materialized from every direction, surrounding the three of them. Kofuner stepped forward. Just level 5 trash. Linger, protect her. I'll handle these insects. Her magic stone bracelet erupted. Lightning, fire, wind, water, earth, dark, light. Every element spinning around her body. Magic circles stacking behind her back like wings.